I'm Tammy Meltzer, I'm chair. It's 6:11. We're gonna actually take a look around the room, make sure we have forms, or if you are a board member, please raise your hand so I can see everybody in the room. Ooh, I love this. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Uh-oh. Anybody else behind the column?
No.
So I think I counted everybody. Somebody, let's try this again. We'll have the secretary count. Or Lucy, can you count to make sure where we're at?
4. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23.
We have, okay, so we have 23 board members in the room. And then I have 2 board members that are online with qualified disability. That brings us to 25, right? Yeah, right? Fantastic. That puts us at 4 because we currently have 48 members. So,
Right.
all right, by the skin of our skinnies and teeth. For our 2 board members who are online, Paul and Laura, I ask that you turn your cameras on, please. Uh-oh.
They're the ones that report.
Okay, fantastic. So Cody's here, so we have one more. All right, fantastic. So we are proceeding ahead with our agenda. We start with our public session, minutes from the people who have signed up online. We do have a dozen people who have signed up to speak this evening, so we're going to try and group people. First, we're going to go to Anthony Medigo from the Fulton Street Coalition. Are you in the room with us or are you online? Seeing someone in the room, let me find you. If you are online and I call your name, I ask if you would please put your hand up. So I'm going to ask for Anthony Medigo to put his hand up and Adam Sinowski. Is Adam in the room or online? Okay, fantastic. And let's see. Eric, you'll go third, Eric. And Andrew Del Olio. Are you in the room or online? Okay, fantastic. So if you are online, please make sure your hand is up and we can unmute you. We're going to start with Adam. Adam, you are open. Welcome to Community Board 1.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. To those that don't know me, I'm Adam Sinofsky. I am the president of the Southbridge Towers Board. I appreciate your time, and the reason why I'm addressing the community is I am very concerned about the proposed shelter at 41-43 Beekman Street. The location across from, both an elementary, middle school, and college dorm for 170 single men is inappropriate for all sorts of reasons. The shareholders of Southbridge themselves are very concerned because our #1 crime incident is typically homeless on the property. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a guard punched in the face by a member of the homeless community in Delory Park who had to go out on disability for a few days. I know several shareholders who are so concerned with the recent uptick in the homeless on Fulton Street. They, want Southbridge to either fence in our property, or some of them even have such high anxiety they consider leaving New York City, which would be a shame because this is their community and home. So I really hope that those electeds who are attending will really reconsider the location of the homeless shelter and at the very least take in our, security concerns and our basic human right to feel safe in our home and neighborhood seriously. That is all I have to say, and thank you for the time.
Thank you very much for speaking, Andrew. We're going to move next. I'm still looking for Anthony. Anthony, if you are on a phone line versus a laptop, you can raise your hand by Anthony Medigo, Medigo.
I think he said he's on a plane.
Okay, so if he is, Anthony, welcome. You are unmuted.
Yes, thank you. I am on a plane and gonna have to defer comments to someone else representing the Fulton Street Coalition.
Okay, so I assume somebody who is going to speak for Anthony will raise a hand or sign up. Anthony, if you can just tell us who it is?
I can't say who's on. I don't have visibility. I apologize.
That's okay, thank you so much. We'll see if we can find them. Let's move along. Eric?
Yeah, hi. I'm also from Southbridge Towers, and opening up another homeless shelter on Beekman Street is irresponsible. We need to have a moratorium on homeless shelters. New York City is in financial distress with citywide budget cuts. The right to shelter can only be adhered to when there is sufficient funding to support a functioning government and protect society. How can New York City take care of guests when New York City cannot take care of its existing residents? The priority needs to be of homeless services needs to be for existing New York City residents, veterans, and then others in need. This community already has 2 homeless shelters, one at 52 William Street and 105 Washington Street as well. As follow-up to what Adam said, I'm really worried how this will affect our quality of life. We already have, we've already had some attacks from homeless people in our community. And with this homeless shelter, regardless of if it's for men or if it's for women, it'll still lead to deterioration of our quality of life. Thank you.
All right, Eric, thank you so much. Moving on after Eric is Andrew. Andrew and I apologize, I really don't want to butcher your name.
Delolio, thank you. Yes, I'm a Southbridge Towers resident, and I've been so for almost all my life. Grew up on Gold Street. I'm also speaking in opposition to a proposal to turn 41 and 43 Beekman Street into a homeless shelter. The buildings, first of all, in addition to the 2 homeless shelters that we do have that are active in the downtown Manhattan area that were just mentioned, one on Washington Street and one on at 52 William. The fact that these particular buildings are much older, they're wood structure, they're non-fireproof buildings, and I think that they'd be probably very dangerous to proposed residents themselves. If anyone, used an open flame within there, these buildings were designed probably over 100 years ago, built over 100 years ago, and they're very dissimilar to the recent structures that were, that were built there. There obviously is an elementary, middle school across the street and a Pace University dormitory even closer, in addition to the Pace University main campus on Spruce Street, plus a hospital. Beekman Street, as you know, in that section is a one-way, one-lane, narrow street, which has a firehouse and a route for ambulances, plus auto traffic, which is one of 2 main ways to get onto the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's constantly choked with traffic. And I really don't think it would benefit from, additional personnel there. I know personally know family members who actually have been followed home in a threatening manner from that particular spot near William and Beekman, only to find out that someone who happened to be a homeless person was following persons, and this was all caught on Southbridge Towers video camera, security cameras. So I really do oppose this, and I really look at this as just an effort by the city government in general, far from serving the local community or frankly even the homeless population itself. Sometimes efforts to rent private property to house homeless or house new recent migrants themselves
Andrew, I apologize, but we do need to cut you off at 2 minutes, so I am sorry we gave you 2.5, but I did have to stop you there so we can get to the next speaker. All right, the next person we're going to call in order is Edmund Nam, because we do have more people to speak on this topic, and then Elizabeth York. So if you are online, please raise your hand. Elizabeth York and Edward Nam. Elizabeth York, I see your hand up. You'll go first. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Member of the Southbridge Tower community, and I am extremely concerned about locating a homeless shelter on Beekman Street across from a school. And it's the ramifications of more homeless people in our neighborhood. It's very concerning for me. I have had contact with a number of homeless people in the area. I've been yelled at by threatened by a couple of homeless people on Fulton Street. I actually, when I know that there's certain homeless people around, I actually go around the corner. It's very uncomfortable. So please don't increase that discomfort here. I do know, and I do attempt to assist. I know that the homeless people need assistance, but really, we need protection too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Edmund, you are next. You are on a phone. To raise your hand, you would do on a phone to raise your hand. *67. *6. Let's see. You've got it. Fantastic. So I'm gonna request for you to unmute yourself. So you should be able to see that. And there you go. Welcome to Community Board 1, Edmund. Edmund.
Hi, thank you for taking my comments. My name is Edmund. I'm a father. I live on Nassau Street, which is adjacent to Beekman Street, next to the proposed homeless shelter. I'm absolutely very concerned about the potential of another homeless shelter in my neighborhood where I live. I have 3 young children who go to the Spruce Street School, which is right next to this proposed shelter. And I think it is absolutely inappropriate, given already the environment in which we are dealing with in this part of the financial district. So I really hope that you can reconsider and not consider the financial district as just an area that you can just create homeless shelters at will. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Edmund. I might have on note this decision had nothing to do with Community Board 1. We were notified as everybody else is. So your opposition is noted, and I will continue to come to our quality of life meetings to discuss concerns also with DSS. We have another speaker on this topic is Vlad Kogan, and then after Vlad, we are moving to Vi, although I'm not sure what Vi is here to speak about. And then after Vi will be Erica Marshad, Andrew Lax, and then Ashley M. Vlad Kogan, if you please raise your hand. Welcome to Community Board 1, Vlad.
Can you hear me now?
You can, yes, indeed.
Yes, I might repeat a lot of things that other speakers have said, but I do feel very passionate about the same subject. I live at William Street for more than 2 years, and prior to that, I lived for more than 30 years at various neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I can attest that this neighborhood already attracts a disproportionate amount of homeless people. And at the danger of sounding harsh, I have to admit that in theory, a homeless shelter sounds like a benevolent idea, but in practice, a lot of those people really need to be in the hospital. In the warmer days, it's practically impossible to walk on the street and not to see somebody who is mentally disturbed, very often danger to others and danger to themselves. I've seen people urinating, I've seen people half naked, I've seen people covered in feces, and I've seen people being very violent, screaming, yelling, kicking trash cans, banging on walls. And between the Coalition for the Homeless on Fulton Street and Radisson Hotel at 52 William, as I said, there is a lot of homeless in this area. And it really concerns me that the city is making these decisions without any regard for the quality of life of the residents.
Thank you very, very much. And we appreciate you coming to the community board. Stay in tune with our agendas for the next follow-up. We'll go to the next speaker, who is speaking on behalf of the Fulton Street Coalition. It's Z. Jantel. That's what the sign-in says. So if you can raise your hand, that would be wonderful.
Muted myself now, is that right?
Hi, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. Yes, you pronounced my name Jantel, so I'm going to speak on behalf of Anthony since he's on a plane. And just in relation to this particular topic, and I don't want to repeat what other people have said. However, I think and I live at 150 Nassau Street, which is the building, on the corner where there was the Denny's and is the Chop House now. In our building and in a lot of the surrounding buildings, there are many families with children. I have 4 children myself, with my husband, obviously, and they go to Spruce Street School. Our children, so we have a lot of young kids, but not only young kids, we have adolescent children who already their development was hindered by COVID, right? They were in homes, they weren't able to attend school. And now that they've been able to go back to school, there's a thing called Out Lunch, which allows certain like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders to be able to go out of the school at lunchtime to go purchase their lunch. They go buy their lunch right at those delis on that corner. I have been so hesitant since post-pandemic to let my kids even walk to CVS because of the homeless situation, because we have been approached by homeless individuals that are either mentally ill or mentally ill, induced by drugs and therefore behaving in a mentally ill fashion. And so it's really scary, which in turn is actually affecting the development of our kids and this next generation of children, because they're not even able to get the freedoms that they otherwise would have if our community felt safe. These kids at 13, 14, 15 should be allowed to walk the streets, go to CVS on their own, walk to the deli, be able to get their lunch and feel safe, and walk to and from school as well. Also, just to note that we did have a crossing guard at right on that corner at Spruce Street School, and we have lost funding and therefore no longer have a crossing guard. So we don't even have a crossing guard there that can protect the children from these people that are mentally ill and like someone else mentioned just before, often yelling, screaming, acting erratically, behavior that you can't predict. So it is very, very scary and would be a liability to our for this to go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, and apologies, but your time is up. We hear you.
Yeah, I want to point out for the public that the crossing guard at the corner of Beekman and William actually retired. It's not that the funding was taken away, and the NYPD is having a hard time finding someone new to take that position. But that's a whole different topic that several of us on the community board are on top of right now.
Okay.
Can I just say one word on this?
Thank you. Okay, I don't know, who Vi might be. I don't have anything signed up, so, there's a Vi if you decide in another topic to, please chat the host so we know who you are. So going in order for where we are going next, I think we said Erica Marshad, Andrew Lax. And are either of them in the room?
Yes, both of them.
Perfect. And, Erica, you're first and you have 2 minutes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Erica Marshad. I'm a resident of Tribeca for 41 years. I speak to you tonight on behalf of 16 residential buildings in the immediate vicinity of 7072 Lake Street, the applicant property. In aggregate, our buildings contain 356 residential units and substantially more residents, primarily families with children. Our buildings constitute essentially the entire area surrounding the applicant. In multiple letters and at the Manhattan Community Board One Licensing Committee on November 8th, our group raised various significant concerns regarding the subject application, including the 500-foot rule violation, requested hours of operation, noise, ventilation, traffic given the Holland Tunnel exit, crowds, trash pickup, zoning, and others. We also stated our general support for well-run and managed establishments, including new ones, within our quiet residential area. Based on our discussion at the November 8th meeting and further conversations amongst the residents represented by this letter, we believe the resolution issued at the meeting by the committee is fair, reasonable, and adequately addresses our concerns as they apply within the scope of the community board's review. Our understanding of that resolution is as follows. Open 5 to 10, Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays, no outdoor dining, events limited to 1 per month with no DJs. We would ask that the stipulations discussed on 11.8 be included in the resolution, including requiring substantial soundproofing, kitchen venting to the roof, coordinated trash collection, traffic management plan, a security guard for the art and crowd control, no TVs or subwoofers, no open windows, doors, and morning deliveries. To the extent applicant is willing to sign and adhere to these provisions, we would welcome them as our neighbor and wish them success. Our group has also spoken with Council Member Christopher Marte's office, which is supportive of the community board's position. We sincerely thank the members of the community board for facilitating thoughtful, effective discussion on this matter.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to Andrew Lax, and then, because the public does not speak during the business session, but we do welcome you to stay. So if there are any questions, once we start the business session, okay?
Okay.
Andrew, you're next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Lax. I'm a member of the board of 71 Lake Street, Sterling Mason Condominium, a residential building containing 33 residences situated directly across the street from 70-73 Lake Street, the applicant property for a liquor license. I'd like to echo Erica's statement here. In short, we support the community board's draft resolution and believe it's of the utmost importance that the applicant be required to sign the stipulations as written in order to be approved for a liquor license. As has been thoroughly discussed, we have various concerns about this applicant, mainly that this is a quiet residential area that already has 5 restaurants within a 100-foot radius. The Bay of Boats, Ichimura, Paisley, and Azabri. A lot of restaurants, they all close between 9:30 and 11. They're all food-focused, high-end, sit-down restaurants, not cocktail lounges, pad rental clubs, and they're all good neighbors. Ultimately, we support our local restaurants, including newcomers, as long as they're willing to operate respectfully within the fabric of our community. We believe the community board stipulations will ensure that, and urge both the community board and applicant to adopt the resolution accordingly. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for participating. It is only through community engagement that the community board can do what we do. So I really appreciate everybody showing up today, and both in person and online. It's very important. Which brings me next to Ashley Emerald. Ashley, are you in the room? All right, let's find Ashley online. And Ashley, when we find you online, please raise your hand.
All right. Are you able to hear me? Great. Thank you all. I appreciate the time of the board and the board staff, having served on a community board up in Harlem, Community Board 10, about a decade ago. I understand your time and commitment, so thank you. As a fellow entrepreneur, I understand Mr. Cohen's interest in pursuing his business, which is the proposed cannabis dispensary at 35 Wall Street. However, I live in the building directly neighboring this proposed location, and my opposition is threefold. First, as the mother to a toddler, the block is already quite challenging to navigate with a stroller, especially with the increased number of tourists and food trucks which are located on the block. Second, the idea of an armed security guard, as was detailed in a Tribeca Tribune article yesterday, is particularly unsettling. While I recognize the risk of violence at a dispensary may be low, the idea that someone with a gun would be so close to our building does not exactly make me feel particularly safe. And lastly, our building serves as a dormitory for many teenage Lamont students who commute to the campuses on Broad Street every day. I'm actually surprised that the board recommended moving forward with this location given the concentration of high school students in our building. Again, I appreciate the time of the board. I understand the business interests of Mr. Cohn and his proposed location, but I do believe the quality of life on our block would suffer if the dispensary is opened at 35 Wall Street. And I believe there are other less residential blocks in our neighborhood that can be much less disruptive to residents. Thanks.
Family.
Susan Cole,
I think that was withdrawn, or there's a different
35
address
Wall, 35 Wall is the final address that they,
that they came up with.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. But I don't see it in,
it should be in the packet,
all right, well, I've been looking.
under exec.
Okay.
It's listed as 23, not 35.
Yeah. There's a typo on that then,
Yeah.
where it should be a separate, no, it's a separate, there are three. It's not that one.
No,
It's the nine. There's one.
It's not, it's just,
There's no Wall
That's
Street at all.
there is, it's 23.
There's no separate one, Tammy.
There should be a separate one.
The reso, sorry.
I'm looking for
There
it.
should be the,
It's not in.
Lucy, we're missing one. Yep, it's 35 Wall, and it was a positive resolution in support. It's missing from the packet. Go ahead.
Tribeca Tribune's article yesterday said, didn't say armed, it said, not necessarily armed.
Correct, because the OCM guidelines require security.
Right.
And he said he would have one security guard at the door.
Right.
And they are not necessarily armed, correct?
I thought she said that he was armed.
People assume.
Okay,
It just has to be security.
got it.
They have to have a security plan, security.
I guess I'll work.
Yep. Susan, thank you for flagging about the missing resolution. We'll take a look and get in on that immediately. Okay. All right, public session is about to close. I mean.
No, I think it's missing.
Oh. Let me just refresh my browser, please.
It was my co-chair, Francis, who has Hawkeyes.
We're gonna recognize, let me just double check, we have one more person who may speak. May have signed up for a public hearing instead of. That's, let me just check. We're gonna recognize, as soon as I find her on here, Dawn Cameron, who is the PTA president, I believe, of the Spruce Street School. Dawn, and we're gonna request to unmute you. There you go.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Colin, and thank you for all of you, to all the work that you do. Yes, I'm a PTA president currently, but I'm also a parent of 3 children, one of whom is no longer at Spruce, but my other 2 daughters are. Over COVID, we watched that school population go from a thriving community of 550 students to a more anemic 400, a significant population loss at the school. And what that's meant for the activities that the children can participate in and the opportunities they have has been dramatic, not to mention the COVID learning loss itself. Families are barely getting back on their feet from that. And we've had a few students return to our public school, I really worry about opening a homeless shelter so close to the school will create yet another barrier for parents to make a choice not to use public schools anymore. And I think that'd be a devastating consequence. People on this call already talked about the loss of freedom that the children might experience by having to deal with the vagrancy. I'd also worry that the small children congregate in the courtyard, both at drop off in the morning and at pickup in the afternoon. After school frequently dismisses at this time of year after it's dark out. I worry that kids are standing around in that courtyard, and the courtyard is the most private and accessible courtyard that would be proximate to that homeless shelter. So I really ask that the community board and the community leaders reconsider this particular location.
Dawn, thank you very much, Dawn, for participating. As I mentioned before, the community board was not given any dialogue or conversation before. Surprise, here we go.
Yes.
We are definitely collecting feedback, and I do suggest that everyone and anyone reach out to our local elected officials, specifically Councilmember Marte, as well as the mayor's office and Robin Forst, who is our contact, to speak about this siting. It does seem poorly cited in terms of the consideration of the neighborhood.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for participating, Dawn, and thank you for your service. Okay, with that, I see no other speakers for our public session. So we're going to close the public session at 6:42. We're going to open a public hearing for the City of Yes for economic zoning proposals. Not seeing anyone who is ready to discuss that topic yet. We will see if there's anybody in the room who would like to speak about the. Seeing no one in the room, we will then close the public hearing at 6:43. There we go. And seeing no one online, Jessica. Anyone raise their hand online? I see, if you were here to speak for the public hearing, put your hand up. I do not see anyone. Okay, perfect. That's 6:43, and we will start with the business session. Oh, we do. Okay, Cindy V, I assume you're here for City of Yes for the public hearing? Cindy?
In the chat, like all the contact info for the city officials we should be contacting regarding the homeless shelter?
Yes, that's the previous topic. We could certainly, you can find off our website the contact information for Councilmember Markley and all of our elected officials. So please take a look at the community board website, and we can certainly pop that in the chat.
Okay.
So thank you. Okay. That was not the public hearing, but hearing nobody for the public hearing, we'll close this down at 6:44. Thank you so much. And let's start officially the business session of the board, which starts with the adoption of the October 2023 minutes. Please note this is roll call, counts towards attendance on the first vote. And who's doing roll call today? Colin, take it away.
Amoruso. Blank.
Here.
Yes.
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 Brown Kennedy. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Still. Rosa Chang.
Chang, yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Mercudian.
Charkoudian, yes.
Cole.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Corman.
Norman, yes.
Kucha. She was just here.
Come back around. She made more.
Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Flores.
Yes.
Flynn.
Flynn, yes.
Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Kucha.
Yes. Sorry.
Froman.
Roman, yes.
Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein.
He's there.
Thank you.
Paul Goldstein. James.
James, yes.
Paul, you need to have your camera on to vote.
I put my camera on.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with the yes there.
We'll go with a yes, and then we're gonna put you back on mute because you need to turn your Speakers off on whatever second device you're on, please, sir.
Zhu,
Andrea is here, so come around again.
K, Canal,
Yes.
Capel, Lerner,
Lerner, yes.
Lewinson, Lynn, Lyon,
Lyon, yes.
Mahoney, yes, Meltzer,
Meltzer, yes.
Hensley, Moore,
More, yes.
Kandaya,
Yeah.
Orshikori, Robinson,
Robinson, yes.
thank you. Rossi, Shear,
Yes.
Star,
Star, yes.
Jimmy Sung,
So, yes.
Vera Sung,
Here, yes.
Thompson, Townley,
Yes.
you,
Yes.
Zelter,
Zelter, yes.
Thompson, Rossi, Orshikori, I think that's on our side. Lynn, Capel, Jew, Amoruso,
I'm gonna go look in the hallway, since I didn't. That's right. All right,
motion passes 39.
And did you get Galloway? Because he was outside.
yes, yeah, we got Galloway.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So we have quorum and we're working. Let's go with, our elected officials. And I do appreciate everybody being here and I appreciate everybody being, on time and rocking along. All right, so far for our elected officials, just to make sure that we're in sync with who's here and who's not. I have Tevin Williams from Congressman Goldman's office. I have Andrew Chang from the Borough President's office, Peter Say from the District Attorney's office, and then Lupe Hernandez from the Public Advocate's office. And Andrew, yeah, do I have anybody else from any of our other electeds, either here or online, that I have missed? Hearing and seeing none, we'll go in that order. Tevin, you're first. Thank you, Tevin.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Hi, good to see everyone. Tevin Williams from Congressman Goldman's office. I have some copies of the, full board report in the back. Please feel free to take some. Thank you. Just real quick, I have a few quick announcements. We did introduce with Congressman Carlos Jimenez, Senator Amy Klobuchar, and Senator Kevin Kramer, introducing the Honor Act, which is honoring our fallen heroes. This bill would recognize occupational cancer deaths as line of duty deaths. So this is anyone that was impacted through like 9/11, any type of those things. That bill was introduced just a couple of weeks ago. The second update I wanted to give was just that there's a rise in anti-Semitism across social media and everywhere. We wrote a letter to Elon Musk, the CEO of X, about this, as it's surging in misinformation across the district and across the world. And this has been a huge incident since October 7th. So we've taken that very seriously. I do want to say very quickly, we do applaud the Biden administration as the recent release of hostages has been very skillful on his side with the Department of State and the military, releasing people each day. We'll keep you updated with any updates, but if you have any questions for us, please reach out to our office. And last but not least, I will see many of you at the borough-based jail discussion tomorrow. I'll be the representative for Congressman Goldman, so please feel free to touch base with me there. That's it. Any questions?
Tell us
It's just a comment. I think, that there also should be some recognition of the Palestinians who have been killed.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake not to do that.
Sure thing.
Agreed.
We've spoken a
Yeah. And I can say it, I'm Jewish.
But no,
We have
that's
some
fine.
more.
I love you. But you're
Yeah.
smart and
We have some
fair.
more stuff in our community board report talking about that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hit that at the top.
But yeah, fair point and good point. State the date of the date, well, I know tomorrow, but
Because
play.
tomorrow.
I've got a
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah.
I've got a slide.
Okay, good.
Are there any other questions for Tevin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank
See
you.
many of y'all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, so after Tevin, we're gonna go actually to Jasper from, sorry, Andrew, you get to wait. We're gonna go to Jasper from Assembly Member's Office.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, can, thank you.
Perfect. Hey guys. So just two quick updates from our office. I believe last time, during last month's meeting, I updated you guys on the work that we are doing with advocates and survivors to hold Columbia University accountable for their role in the crimes of ex-OBGYN Robert Haddon. And a very encouraging update on that. So this month, or late this month, Columbia actually agreed to our demands and will be taking a series of actions to bring justice to Haddon survivors, including notifying all his past patients about his conviction, his federal conviction, which when they initially did the notification gave them an opportunity to seek justice before the expiration of the Adult Survivors Act, which expired last Thursday on the 23rd. They also agreed to conduct an independent investigation into the institutional failures that allowed Haddon to commit his abuses for 25 years under their employment. And they're also setting up a $100 million settlement fund for the victims. So that is also an opportunity for them to seek justice beyond the expiration of the Adult Survivors Act last week. So we are very, very encouraged by those updates. And we'll continue working to make sure that they fulfill these many promises. Second update is that this month we introduced new legislation with Senator Brad Hoylman and the Manhattan DA that aims to confront the severe rise in hate that minority groups across New York have experienced in recent months and recent years. We're calling it the Hate Crimes Modernization Act, and it intends to improve New York's laws so they can address loopholes that currently allow acts that are clearly committed with bias intent to go unrecognized as hate crimes just because of the way that the current statutes work. So it will expand the list of crimes that can be legally recognized as hate crimes. Addressing hate is a complex issue. It requires a diverse and holistic approach, and this is one of the many steps that we believe is necessary. So yeah, between those two updates, that's pretty much all I have for you guys this month. Any questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Jasper from Assemblymember Lee's office?
Well,
Eric, you?
yeah, so what do you mean the loopholes? Can you give us some examples?
Yeah, definitely. So the way that prosecuting hate crimes currently works is that there's a defined list of existing categories of crimes that can be legally recognized as hate crimes, and there are lots of omissions from this list that when they are committed are clearly committed with bias intent. So I'll give you an example. Currently, if an individual were to say spray paint hateful imagery or hateful language on someone's property, it could not be tried as a hate crime. It would only be able to be tried as defacement of property. So it's that kind of idea. It's expanding the statutes to incorporate acts that are blatantly committed with hate, with a hateful intent.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Jasper? All right, so Andrew, I said you're gonna be next, but Robin's online. And when you come, I'm gonna make you come stand over here so we can see you and hear you.
Sure.
Robin Forst from our beloved mayor's office. Robin.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. A lot of lively discussion on issues that I'm sure we will be talking about further. I wanted to just tell you about a few things that have been going on. I was interested in the comment about the Spruce Street school enrollment because for the first time in 8 years, student enrollment in our schools has increased by about 8,000 students, bringing the New York City public school system to about a little over 900,000 students We remain the largest school district in the country. And there will be some increase in funding, but the city desperately needs additional funding from the state and federal government to ensure existing student success and also to ensure that we have adequate resources for students who are living in temporary housing. And we know that that's a larger number than it used to be. There is also, I don't know if parents here have heard, there is a new program that was created by the mayor and Department of Mental Health and Hygiene called Teen Space. And basically, it's a telemental health service for teenagers between the ages of 13 and 17. This is in response to the increase in anxiety and depression that we first saw during the pandemic, but it's lingering for many people, adults too, but this is a program for teenagers. And this will allow teenagers to connect with licensed therapists by phone, video, or text. The service, which is provided by an organization called Talkspace, was designed with input from the teenagers through a series of focus groups. So hopefully the goal will be accomplished of being able to reach young people in a way that makes sense for them. Yesterday, the mayor opened a new front in the battle against the proliferation of illegal and unlicensed smoke shops. The sheriff's office, I'm going to read the name because I have to. The sheriff's office Joint Compliance Task Force to address illegal smoke shops. That's the end of the title. Sent letters to landlords and owners of 50 buildings across the 5 boroughs that could be liable, the landlords liable, if they continue to rent their space to these people. So far, the task force has imposed more than $7 million in penalties at the 50 locations. So District Attorney Bragg had been working on this some months ago. This is kind of an enlargement or an enhancement of that effort. The illegal smoke shops, have proliferated, as everybody knows, really throughout the city, and in the neighborhoods of Lower Manhattan, it's gotten pretty bad. Finally, there's a new science park and research campus. It's part of the Kips Bay Master Plan. And it's the first of its kind, a life sciences center and education hub that will serve as an anchor to the healthcare industry in the city. The goal of this model is education and training, and with an ultimate goal of trying to ensure that New York City retains its place as a major health and life sciences center. There will be a task force leading the project, and that will be handled by EDC. That's pretty much all I have to bring to you. I know that there are some issues that people will like to hear more about, and feel free, Tammy or the board can share my contact information. I can put it in the chat, but not everybody's on Zoom. So with that, thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Community Board 1.
Robin, I have some questions, and I know there's a couple others in the room.
You have a question, Tammy? Go ahead.
So we would really love more information. I would hazard a guess we probably have maybe close to 50 ourselves for illegal tobacco stores in Lower Manhattan. So I want to be very clear. This is illegal tobacco, not illegal cannabis. Or if it is illegal cannabis, that would be a joint venture between city and state. So can you clarify that? Can you provide us the contact information for where we can report it so we can help you help them?
With regard to illegal cigarette, tobacco sale stores, that's handled by Consumer Affairs. But the cannabis or illegal cannabis is a different story. And I would like to probably get back to you with appropriate names for reporting purposes. It's a sticky situation because it has not been made easy by the state, and NYPD, as you all know, has very, very limited ability to do anything about the illegal shops. So let me get back to you on that, Tammy.
That would be fantastic. We would really appreciate it. Feel free to drop your contact information into the chat, because I know several people who spoke at the public session who are eagerly looking forward to reaching out to the mayor's office regarding 4143 Beekman Street.
Yes,
And
I was on the meeting, but I was in the other category, so I heard a lot of it.
If you can drop the email into the chat, we would be happy to read it out for people so it becomes part of the public record for them and share it with anybody who is still online. So no problem. Justine has a question for you in the room.
Thanks so much.
Hi.
Hey, Robin, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. I have a question because I thought it was interesting that you paid attention, whatever, it caught your attention about the Spruce Street School having empty seats. If I listened correctly and heard, there's about 150 down of empty seats at this point in time. And I would love to get back to the mayor's office and back to the agencies that are in charge of placing families with children in shelters or families with children. One of the things that we've talked about ad nauseum in the Quality of Life Committee is to be placing families with children in neighborhoods that have schools that are rich in infrastructure. And right there, you heard it, and it, because you live here. This is a neighborhood that does not need shelters filled with men or adults and adult children, because what we've got a great
support
network, thank you for it, is families with children. And,
Yeah, Tammy, I've actually spoken with Tammy about this, Justine. They talk about a shelter, the old Holiday Inn
Yes.
shelter, families with children, and Tammy told me how well absorbed those children have been in our local schools. And you're right, this neighborhood is rich in public education and very good public education. We're very fortunate.
Yes, we are.
I hear what you're saying, and I think it's worth thinking hard about and seeing what can be done, if anything. And
Conversation would be great. And then also not looking at kids every 90 days, but thank you.
Okay, Jared,
Yeah, hi, Robin. I just wanted to.
a little louder.
who is this?
Hi. I just want to bring up a question. I recognize that this is largely a state issue, but wanted to at least put it on the mayor's office's radar. And it has to do with the legal cannabis shops and specifically the application of the 500-foot rule. At the moment, OCM is applying the rule in a way that requires it to be within the prohibition, for the prohibition to be effective. It requires that the school in proximity to the potential dispensary locations be within 500 feet and on the same road and with a building that is exclusively used as a school. The problem is in New York, as you know, with the exception of freestanding elementary schools, high schools, et cetera, many of the schools that that fall under the law, preschools, daycares, et cetera, are in shared buildings. The larger problem, though, is that at least my read of it, is that the law does not actually say that. It doesn't read in the exclusive use requirement. It doesn't read in the same road requirement. I'm not expecting a response on this. I just wanted to put this on the mayor's office radar because I think it is a problem that's going to come up time and time again. And that's really it.
Okay, I'm gonna put my information in the chat. Tammy will read it out. I'd be happy to hear from you if you'd like to explore this further. You're right, it is a state issue. But I think we've seen that the state hasn't, maybe hasn't been as prepared as they could have been. And now with the additional stores coming online, legal stores, it may become more of an issue. So, very valid concern.
One last question for you, Robin.
Yes.
That's from Des.
Hi, Robin. It's Desi Robinson.
Hello.
You can see me. Hello. I was wondering if you could repeat the information on the program with Talkspace for youth mental health.
Yes. There are things about it I don't know, like exactly when it's starting, but it is a program that has been developed between the mayor's office and the Department of Health and Mental Health, DOHMH. It's called Teen Space, and the idea is that there's telemedicine for mental health that will be offered to teenagers in the city between the ages of 13 and 17. And it's a response in large part to the higher levels of anxiety and depression that students, young people felt during the pandemic, and many carry with them after the pandemic. And just parenthetically, I don't think it's limited to children, but this is a focus on children in schools at a pretty critical time in their lives where, they're making life decisions, and, these problems would be better dealt with than swept under the carpet. And I think that that's, the intention of this. How wide it'll be and exactly when it will start, I don't know. I will try to get that information. This is a recent announcement, and I think they're ready to get going with it. The program is being run by an organization called Teen Space. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Talkspace is the name of the organization. That's the provider, Talkspace, and the program is Teen Space. Does that help?
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Seeing no other questions in the room and none of the board members online have questions. Robin, thank you so much. Andrew, we're going to welcome you. Please take my spot over here so the cameras can get you nice and clean and clear. Sure. And welcome.
Hi, Andrew from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I have several things I want to announce regarding meetings that we're hosting. We're hosting a discussion with OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, on Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. We're aware it's the same time as the Borough-based Jails Design Workshop, but we hope whoever can attend from Community Board 1 can attend. We sent this out to Zach, your district manager, and Tammy, and we're inviting all community boards in Manhattan to attend. It's on Zoom. If you want more information, please reach out to Zach or me or Tammy. Secondly, thanks to those who attended our leadership training sessions over the last 2 weeks on various topics from conflicts of interest to ethics and land use. We're having one last session on Monday, December 4th at 5 p.m. via Zoom. This will cover the topic of combating implicit bias. So 5 p.m. Monday, December 4th on combating implicit bias.
And that's Zoom?
Yes, via Zoom. This was also sent out to all the community board members as well. I believe this is the date was changed. It was originally supposed to be in November, and we had to change the date. So it's been rescheduled to December 4th. It's also on our website if you want the Zoom link. We're gonna be hosting a public hearing on hybrid meetings for public bodies on December 14th. And this meeting will also be held hybrid. Yes. So we're gonna have a hybrid meeting for public bodies on December 14th. It'll be here at the Manhattan Borough President's Office or via Zoom. It's gonna be at 11 a.m. right after the Manhattan Borough Board meeting. So pretty much all the community board, reps who are already here for the Borough Board meeting will be in attendance for this meeting.
And I'm sorry, what time was that?
11, basically as soon after the Manhattan Borough Board, so around 11 a.m. On Thursday, December 14th. And I guess last couple of things I want to mention is that we did a couple of community cleanups throughout the borough of Manhattan earlier this month. The closest location to you guys, to Community District 1, was over in Two Bridges at the Pike Street Mall. If you guys have suggestions for community cleanups in Community District 1, please let me know. And we had a public hearing on the City of Yes for Economic Opportunity last month at last month's Manhattan Borough Board meeting. And just to remind folks, we released a report on sidewalk sheds and scaffolding earlier this year. I know that some community members had concerns about sidewalk sheds and scaffolding. So yeah, we had a report on recommendations and it's on our website. And that's my report for today. If you have any questions, please let me know.
All right, do we have any questions for Andrew? I don't see any hands in the room. Nope. Andrew, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Since you're always so soft-spoken, I'm gonna make you take my seat every time. All righty, moving from Andrew, let's go to Max Joyce from Councilmember Marte's office online. Max.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, I'll start off really quick with legislation. So about 2 weeks ago, we had a hearing on our bill that would require senior service providers to attend anti-discrimination trainings, specifically to prevent discrimination of LGBTQ seniors. So hopefully that bill can pass. And then on the budget side, so on Thursday is the last day to submit participatory budgeting ideas. So if you have an idea for something you want to see funded in the district, repairing a school, parks, street lights you want, anything, go to the website. You have till Thursday to submit your ideas. And then in the spring, we'll be voting on what gets funded. And then on a kind of more broader budget scale, as I'm sure many of you have heard, last week the mayor announced a lot of drastic budget cuts citywide. And so Councilmember Marte, he's been in conversations with the administration and agencies and other council members trying to push back on a lot of these cuts and make sure that we can protect the composting in libraries, schools, trash pickup, and any other essential services, from being cut. This is going to be an ongoing fight, but, feel free to reach out with us if you have any questions about specific programs or services in the area. And then, we've heard from a lot of the residents in Tribeca around Lake Street. And so Councilmember Marte wanted to signal his support for the resolution being voted on tonight regarding the liquor license for 7072 Lake Street. And then outdoor dining. So, last week, you might be aware, there was a public hearing for the outdoor dining rules, and Councilmember Marte was the only council member to testify, and he testified just sharing his concerns for the hours of operation, the license terms, oversight, lack of enforcement. And so, yeah, we'll kind of see how the rules play out after the hearing. For the City of Yes, zoning for economic opportunity. So our office has been analyzing the text amendment closely, and we're working on issue areas and potential recommendations. We will be sharing soon the community board one with some materials to help synthesize the actual text and provide some impact analysis. And we're happy to support the community board however we can as y'all review the proposal. If anyone has questions that specifically, you should call our office and speak with Connor, our land use director. He's been reading all the thousands of pages of this stuff, and so he can answer any questions you have. And then lastly, Independence Plaza, as you may have heard, there was a proposed 900-foot tower in Independence Plaza campus. So as we understand it, the owner is aiming to get the proposal approved as a minor modification, which would not require a full ULURP process. We're skeptical that this is all possible under the current zoning, and so we plan to share more information as we continue to look into the proposal. And again, if you have questions on that specifically, call our office and speak with Connor. Yeah, he's working on that the most, and yeah, he can the best one to talk about that. And then I'll end there, yeah, answer any questions. I guess I'll also add, because I know we had a lot of people, speaking on the proposed homeless shelter on Beekman Street. Yeah, we also would, like, as a community board, we're kind of notified just earlier this month about it. So we're also working, and we're happy to work with the community board. I'll put my email in the chat, and then we plan on meeting with Department of Homeless Services to discuss this location and kind of highlight some of the concerns that we're hearing. I mean, yeah, with that, I'll take any questions.
Okay, looking around the room, anybody have any? Oh, we're gonna go Eric and then Cody. Go for it.
Okay, so Councilmember Marte's office, so does he oppose the homeless shelter? And if he does, what is he going to do?
So yeah, so like I say, we can't support or oppose. Again, we haven't met, we have very little information about it so far. They just told us they're making it. We don't, people here seem to have more information about it than they've given us. We've been trying to schedule a meeting, and we're trying to work that out to get more information. But yeah, we can't say for or against yet.
We're in his district, so he has to look out after us. So.
And like I said,
okay.
Again, people here, have more information. I think they're more, again, they have not communicated a lot of this information to us. So, yeah, we will be working on this, but again, we can't, have a position yet.
Okay, Cody, you're next, and then Colin.
I'm not sure if you'd be the right person to ask this question, but like, I'm just curious if there's a place, if the city or, city leaders look at like, the number of shelters that are in a certain district compared to other districts in the city. Is there some sort of database or formulary that's used to decide where shelters go?
Yeah, so there is what's known as the fair share analysis, which is that I'm sure people here might know more, that every community board gets their fair share. Yeah, I don't know what the exact number is, and I'm sure people in quality of life would know better than I would on that.
We do, Max, but one of the things I will say that we find disconcerting is the letter that we got with notification claimed this was the first shelter. And we've been down this rodeo before. This is not our first. This is actually the second DHS DSS shelter that's being cited. So it is disconcerting to us that the paperwork is wrong. So fair share and all, just saying. We also
definitely,
have,
yeah. All the concerns people are raising seem, very valid. So yeah, I'm not trying to shut it down. It's just, that we want to work and, kind of start this conversation now with you all to kind of, figure this out.
We're happy to help update you, but I will tell you, as an elected council person, you should be able to get from DHS, DSS. They have a map which shows every type of shelter that they have, which would include potential one of the migrant shelters that they run versus the other agency in the city that runs it. 105 Washington, which is being built and is behind, but is due to open next year. So yeah, they should be able to help. Colin?
Max, I appreciate that you're not able to give answers on behalf of the member at this time, but one, I'd ask that he perhaps come back at next month's meeting and be a little bit more informed on what's happening. Two, I'd ask that he hold a neighborhood community meeting of some sort, get a hold of the owner of the building, which is something that's been hard for us to do. Get a hold of ACE and the hospital and all the players in 8 Spruce, which is a 2,000 person building right there. And certainly the people at the school. I think it's the member's responsibility to hold a hearing on this. It's going to be a thorn in the member's side, I think. So I think you ought to get ahead of it.
No, definitely. I've already been texting, once I started hearing the public testimony. I'm already texting him about, figuring out, what our next steps are. But this is, we definitely want to work on this with you all.
But Max, can we hold you to that? Can you have the member commit to showing up to next month's meeting and before then holding a meeting about this?
December
Yeah.
20th, Max.
September 20th. Yeah. Again, I can't confirm his schedule just because I don't do the scheduling, but yeah, I can commit to doing my best to make sure he's there and we're working on a meeting.
I appreciate that, Max. I'll let you go.
Well, we would hope to see you December 20th, our full board meeting or the council member himself. And we welcome you to join our Quality of Life Committee meeting in January. Because this topic's not going to go away.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And Max, just again, I've been in your position before, I get it, but I'd like, personally, I live in East Spruce. My daughter goes to school at Spruce Street School. Yeah, sorry, Jamie. I've been holding back my opinion on this. I'm being very careful about it because I'm concerned about what some of the things people said earlier. But at the same time, I'd like answers, and we can't seem to get any. So he's our council member. I'd really like for him to have answers for us as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else have anything for Max? Mariama, you're gonna have to come closer to the table or be quite loud where you are.
I'm loud. I think it's important for our representatives to understand that part of the challenge with the fair share is that it's based on community board rather than neighborhood. Or streets, a number of streets. So you can say community board 1 and then put everything in Chinatown.
Yeah.
And this is what's been happening. They inundate particular neighborhoods, usually neighborhoods of color, but now it's made its way to Five Islands. This has been happening in Chinatown and in Harlem and all over, in other neighborhoods of color for years. All of the shelters in one place, all of the drug rehab centers in one place, all of the, on and on and on. And so other areas of a particular district remain untouched while some are overwhelmed. And that's what's happening.
All right, well, with that round of applause, I think Mariama gets the last comment for you, Max. I think it's perfect. All right, and we look forward to seeing you in December and January.
That was good. All right.
Peter.
Yeah, I'll try to get the council member here next time.
Thank you. Peter C. is here from our district attorney's office. Peter, would you like to be over here?
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
You don't know me, I'm Peter Say, I'm the community liaison for the Manhattan District Attorney. I'll add some of the updates, further to what Jasper said about the hate crimes legislation and what Eric was asking the question. Specifically, there are a lot of loopholes in that law, okay? Right now, only 67 crimes or statutes qualify as a hate crime. If this Modernization Act goes through, it'll go up to 98 crimes, adding 31 statutes. And to what Jasper said, simply, graffiti does not count as a hate crime right now. Throw a spot sticker up there, it doesn't count as a hate crime. So that's what we mean by loophole, okay? It's not stated. If it's not stated in the law, we cannot prosecute it as a hate crime. So that's why they call it the Modernization Act. And we stand with State Senator Hoylman and Assemblymember Lee in pushing through this legislation. So let's hope it goes through. We thank them for their support. Another thing, want to announce that we've been talking about this for the past couple months. The district attorney awarded a $6 million grant to deploy some neighborhood navigators in certain communities, and that includes communities within Community Board 1. Put 3 navigators in this community to help people with mental health and substance abuse issues. There are other organizations doing this, but there's never enough. So we're looking to deploy 3 of them, specifically 2 that are Chinese speaking to address the issues in Chinatown. We're looking for applicants now. We hope to have these deployed by February. Previously, and I can leave more information with the chat or with Zach and Tammy will help me. We have specs for what we're looking for. These are paying jobs, union jobs. Finally, also, talked about the bridge, we talked about that. Just to let you know, We, recently, back in October, we have an education team that can come and address your groups on various issues to educate. We gave a presentation to the Quality of Life Committee explaining the process of arrested disposition. So some people will ask questions like, well, why was this person arrested? And they're back out in the streets 24 and 48 hours. And we brought an assistant district attorney down to explain, how they charge, how they move the arraignments. But that's not the only thing we can do. There's so many issues now with identity theft, voter abuse. We can have our members from those teams come to any of these organizations here with Community Board 1 or other organizations that you represent. So you can contact me, I can help make the arrangements. Finally, every summer, the Manhattan District Attorney has a very robust high school and college internship program. It's great for rising juniors, rising seniors in high school. We'll be taking applications in early January, but to help students navigate through the process, we're holding some information sessions to let them learn what we're looking for. I put some information sheets at the door. We could also put it online. The next session is on Thursday. So if you know of any worthy students, we're looking for more applicants from Lower Manhattan. So please pass the word for us. Those are the announcements I have. Any questions? Yes?
Yes, I would just, want to point out something, because I think a lot of people don't understand what the significance of, prosecuting something as a hate crime is. As I understand it, that what it does is elevate the offense level. So if something was, say, a class A misdemeanor, and if it's prosecuted as a hate crime, it becomes a felony crime subject to harsher punishment. Is that the essence of the proposed legislation?
That is the essence. Right now, if a crime committed qualifies or fits into the guidelines of hate crime, the charge is upgraded.
Yeah.
Okay, to certain levels.
So people,
that is the essence. You're right.
people don't understand that. People say, oh, it's prosecuted as a hate crime. Well, that's what it means. It means it gets prosecuted as a higher offense level. I just thought I would point that out.
Thank you for adding that. Basic, simple. If you have a crime that previously was a simple misdemeanor, it can be upgraded even to a felony. Okay, and when these crimes are able to be upgraded, then in some cases, we can ask for bail. Thank you.
Any other questions? I see one. Yep. Jess?
On that point, is it elevated like across the board, or are there gradations based on the severity of the crime? Because as I understand it, they're not really loopholes right now. It's that most of the predicate crimes are violent crimes, so.
The loophole means that certain crimes, like the example I gave before about graffiti, there's no statute in the books that classifies that as a hate crime.
Right.
So it can't be elevated, okay? But otherwise, it's right now they're just being charged with spray painting something on a wall.
But is it gonna be elevated to the same point as a more serious crime like assault? Because that would seem.
It'll be elevated to different levels, okay? Not necessarily assault, okay? But once a crime qualifies as a hate crime, yes, the charges are upgraded.
What I understand is it goes up one level. So if something was a misdemeanor, it goes up to an E felony. If it was an E felony, it might go up to a D felony.
Right.
Whatever the lower level is, it goes up to the next level. That's the significance of it.
You have the essence of it, that is correct.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Peter? No? Thank you. Thank you very much for coming, Peter. What I discovered last time is those who speak softly or presenting and sitting in the second row are rarely heard. The camera stays on me, so much happier to have them sit here. All right, Lupe, are you with us in room or are you online today? I see Lupe online. Lupe, you can unmute yourself. You're a participant.
Good evening, Community Board 1. I'm happy to be here. Just acknowledging very lengthy month we've had from Election Day to Veterans Day, Diwali. We recently also just celebrated Transgender Day of Remembrance, and I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. Some legislative updates, and we have, I think I did mention this at our last, or Jumani might have mentioned this, the bill requiring the city to screen all of our incarcerated people for dyslexia within our jails and provide intervention. That was recently signed into law, and dyslexia is also making a major contributing factor to the literacy that we're seeing within our schools. And so we are very happy to say that, to see the leading work that's happening within public schools and education. We recently had the MTA accessibility with mounting issues surrounding subway accessibility. We're happy to announce that, particularly for disabled New Yorkers, the Public Advocate released a new report called Out of Service. It's an analysis of the MTA's failure to make the system accessible. It has gone extensively in examining initiatives that the city and the state can undertake in both immediate and long term to better serve our New Yorkers with a range of disabilities. Just prepping for winter as temperatures begin to drop, we want to remind, and our office is encouraging tenants to know their rights when it comes to heat season and to learn how to save on energy with Con Edison's cost saving programs. I will drop both of these links to the Out of Service MTA report, as well as this advocate blog that will remind all of our constituents on how to stay warm this winter.
Questions for our public advocate's office? Nice quiet day for you, Lupe. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you in December. So thanks very much. With that, let's move on to our district manager's report. And this is Zach's first full board report. Welcome.
Second.
Did you full board report though last time? There we go. All right.
We'll keep it brief anyway.
Let's rock and roll.
So on the November 13th, the EDC and the mayor announced RFP for a new operator for Pier 6, the heliport. The key there was they're looking to upgrade Pier 6 to include access for an EV pole, which is electric vertical takeoff and landing, basically an electric helicopter that can also kind of move into a plane. And this is, they're much quieter. These are much quieter, which we noticed, and they have a range of about 100 miles, and they're pretty cool to see. They did the demo, and they're also using this, going to be looking to use the space as a last mile maritime delivery. See an illustration of what that possibly could look like. And this RFP is open right now and sometime January 12th, and they're looking to name that new operator in the spring. Next slide. There have been a few high-profile fires in the city recently, noting that FDNY is giving away free smoke alarms, so something to share with everyone here and share with your neighbors that you can get a free smoke alarm. A few housekeeping things, committees for next month, youth, Battery Park, and quality of life won't be having meetings next month, so you can enjoy your holidays there. Also, in January, we'll be losing the space because the borough president's office is renovating parts of their office here, so we won't be meeting here. Right now, we're looking at the mezzanine in this building, which is not as great of a space, but might have to use that to hold us over for potentially up to 3 months, January, February, and March. But we're figuring that out. So we're gonna try it out. We're gonna try it out for January, and see how it goes, and if we need to.
Hold on, before everybody starts retailing or Zach with dialogue about how bad the sound was there and how cold it was and everything else, they have told us they have made improvements to that zone. So we will be trying it in January. If that doesn't work, then we'll be looking at a neighborhood location near you, as they say. We'll be on the road, but note, if we're on the road, I might ask not only the hospitality committee for help, but I may ask other board members to stop by the office early to help. We have questions. Go ahead.
I just wanted to also add that Battery Park City Committee is moving to the first Thursday of every month. So going forward, we're meeting on Thursdays, not Wednesdays. And we're skipping December, as you said, but January.
One more item, the Borough President's Office is encouraging everyone to take implicit bias training. You should have received an email, as a follow-up. Oh, you got that,
All right.
That's it.
And then transportation is going to be the first Wednesday of the month. That will start in December. Number one, next month. Just look at the calendar.
Yeah.
It's on the calendar.
Okay, number two, we had. They have space that they
But you
would like.
have to pay for the audio visual. Remember, and the AV is housed
They would work with us on that. Yes, they did. They said that. Yes, it's on record.
We'll check. Because that's thousands. Yeah. We have to say.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be happy. Joe?
What's the schedule? How many flights a day, 7 days a week?
Pardon?
Second year.
The vehicles the EBT tolls don't have FAA clearance yet. They're looking for like 2025. So this is out into the future. Yeah.
So we have to wait till, okay.
Yeah, they don't have FAA approval yet.
Anybody else have questions for Zach? Seeing none, let's move on. Perfect. Chairman's report. Busy month. And, since we saw you in last full board meeting, I had the pleasure of walking around from meetings with Susan Cole one night, noticing these lovely illuminated billboards on the side of the exchange. Yes, we do carve our own pumpkins, and take a look at mine. There's a really fun event down by Wall Street that I went to that I thought was neat. There's Gotham Park. Thank you very much, Rosa. And for those who saw over Veterans Day weekend, the USS New York came. So it's been a busy month. We've done a lot of things. I want to thank everybody who came on the walkthrough, looking at the cobblestones on Vestry Street. Good information came out of DVC's partnership with the community board for the next cobblestone street project. When they do a sample, they will ask community board members to come and take a look at it. So this time we were looking at it for warranty, and we found things that were not correct about it and asked for change. They're going to have us come in the beginning of the process. So I think that was a really helpful and great thing. Thanks to Zach. And with regard to the heliport, one of the things I want to mention about the Pier 6 heliport is Pier 6 is scheduled to be moved according to, next slide, you'll see. I'll tell you where you can go see that. So there's a lot happening this week. Tomorrow, the BPCA board meeting is at 11 a.m. for anyone who would like to go and speak. There is a public comment. Recordings are also available on the authority's website afterwards. They are discussing some of the resiliency information and electing tomorrow. Manhattan Design Guidelines Workshop is tomorrow for the borough-based jail facility. I cannot stress enough how important it would be for people in the community to go and to speak up. There's an RSVP form. We've sent out notices. We can can send it out again in the morning if you need. Next slide. Here is, you can scan the QR code if you want to RSVP. We'll leave that up for a second. Materials will be posted online for virtual feedback through the 14th, so you will consistently see us sending this information out. We don't have many meetings in the next 2 weeks in terms of community board meetings, so I do ask that people absolutely try and attend. If you have any questions, call Nikita. You're on that side of the room. You don't have to scan all the way here. There's another one behind you. Okay. I'll give it to you. Okay. So we're going to just mention Pier 6. This is the Lower Manhattan Coastal Resiliency, which is EDC's plan for the east side of our community board. And it's a webinar that will be hosted by Alexis Taylor and Jordan. It is also tomorrow. It is a lunchtime opportunity for you to take a look. And it'd be great to understand because according to the last plans that we all saw at the quarterly update, Pier 6 is moving closer to the Battery Maritime building, and it will have blue highway usage, which will have to include transportation coming on and off that pier. So it'll be a very interesting thing to understand how this new RFP works in with all the other uses, because it is not a replacement for full electric. It is an addition. Excellent. So if you're real busy tomorrow and you really are enjoying your resiliency days, then you can do on the 30th, this is the Battery Park City Authority's resiliency. This is Northmore to South Coast. This is not just Battery Park City Authority. It goes all the way up the side of Northmore Street to Greenwich. So this crosses BMCC. It's
Independence Plaza.
Independence Plaza. It is a big project. So I welcome you to join. It is not a 3-4-hour meeting. It's actually, there's an open house at 4:30 and then the actual presentation starts at around 6. Next slide, please. Absolutely, go ahead. The city being so graciously grateful that we're going to be able to provide resiliency. So there, you need to RSVP for this as well. It's an Eventbrite ticket. Please note, thus far in 2023, there has only been a localized drainage presentation at CV1. There have been no design progress presentations at Community Board 1. So I recommend members of the public try to attend this update. We continue to request that the BPCA present a comprehensive update at any of our CV1 meetings. We have offered the Battery Park City Committee, the Environmental Protection Committee, the Executive Committee, full board, anything that they'd like to come. We hope that they will. We'd like something to be similar to what was done in December of 2022, where there was a full review of every reach design. Next slide. Having implicit bias. I think this is the third or fourth time you've heard this tonight. This is one of the 3 trainings that we're all required to take. It's Zoom, could not possibly be easier. I encourage everybody to sign up for this one. This, COIB, and are the 3 required that every board member has to take every year. So even if you've been here 10 years or 2 months, you're required to take them. EEO is the other one. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. It's like a voice from hell. They're working on those options. The issue is always going to be tracking. And so they are working on that. We have made that. They said they are working on it for right now. This is working out. Next slide. Budget cuts. There is a huge composting budget crisis. DSNY has said at a district service cabinet meeting that they are highly affected by budget crunch. So enforcement might be a question. Composting is being cut. So there are 2 rallies. One Thursday, if you would like to be at City Hall Park, Broadway and Chambers, 12 to 2. And then another one Wednesday, December 6th. Okay. This will highly affect things, including birth matters on Governor's Island, which would be cut entirely from the DSNY budget. So
I thought that was a big initiative.
Yeah.
Mandatory composting for everybody.
That was before.
Yes.
Just make sure I wasn't asleep at the wheel.
No, you weren't asleep.
Okay.
That is true. Go ahead.
Composting and all the market or community composting is really important for community building, soil health, and all of the environment. But
not only
based on latest data.
Right. Delayed, but there's also enforcement issues. So, yeah. So if I like, yeah. Yeah.
I just want to mention, that this will be brought up at the Environmental Protection Committee as a topic. On that, that evening, and then Jared. This is set up.
And that brings me to close to my chair report. It's, we will be back to newsletters on the weekends. We're trying to catch up a little bit here. But we want to say thank you to Mimi for taking on the newsletters and trying to run over. So we'll be back to newsletters in December. You just have to give her a look. Executive committee. We had lots of fun this month. So we have 3 resolutions for the adult use cannabis. There were many applicants that did not show, so you will see one resolution that was a denial based on not responding after they've done a community notification, not coming, not sending the information, not showing up to a meeting. That is one resolution. There is a second resolution that said, that is about the people who let us know both in a meeting or online that they were planning on withdrawing. It's nice, but we don't have any way that we know of thus far to confirm that they have withdrawn versus just going ahead without us. And if we don't say anything, then OCM says, community board doesn't mind. They said nothing. So you'll see a second resolution on that for all those people who withdrew. And then there is one resolution for 35 Wall Street that did present, and it sits before you. So what I'd like to do is take the 2 denials for those who withdrew and those that did not show and take those together. We have one for 35 Wall Street, and since this is not a roll call because we've already done attendance, we're going to take the 2 together first for the denials. If you were not here for the roll call on the attendance, you'll have to say your name when you vote, and I just need to ask if everybody's okay with that, and if there are any questions. These are on the 2 denials that we're going to do together.
Right, so 23, it's listed as 23 Wall Street, that should be changed.
23 Wall Street on the denial is accurate.
And you got the 35 Wall Street as a separate piece of paper, you got one?
Yeah.
Any other questions, Francis? No. Jess? They did not show up. They did not reply for a questionnaire. They didn't do anything. They just sent notification and then never responded again.
Yes.
OCM has no way of knowing if they actually showed up or not unless.
So can we write a resolution saying, asking them to come rather than posting?
They've already been invited. They already got emails. And they've already, we filed for extension. We've done everything that we could from a community board. We've given them the information. We have followed up. We've applied for extensions for them. We are only allowed to apply for one, and that's it.
There are like 15, you're telling me that they all just neglected to show up?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
But some did.
No, just.
No.
Let me answer his questions. Correct. After multiple outreach, they did not show up.
Okay.
And they did not fill in the questionnaire and return the questionnaire either.
It seems to me that something is wrong here, not with what we're doing,
Mhm.
but that by not necessarily their fault, they're not aware of the process or they.
Oh, they are aware.
Oh, yeah,
No, no.
everyone's aware of this.
They're aware, but they can apply to multiple locations. So the key is you're only allowed to actually apply to 3. Let's see. If potentially they applied to 1 in Community Board 1, 1 in Community Board 4, 1 in Community Board 8, and they got a lease in any of the others, and they went forward with those, they cannot also apply for ours. And so they just didn't tell us. I mean, there's so many reasons that they didn't, but if they sent the notification to us, which we received, it has to be hand delivered or mail delivered. It can't be email delivered. So there's no chance that they don't know the information because it's also on all of the stuff that they have. I would like to say that we gave them numerous opportunities because when they get, we have to acknowledge that we have received it. And if they say, gee, we're not ready, then we apply for an automatic 30-day for them to give them 60 days to get themselves ready, because that's all we're allowed to do. And after that, if we say nothing, then OCM says it goes in as, you have no objections, you have no comments. So we are doing the process because they did not fill out their paperwork. It is what we're required to do. Next question was Jared and then Bob.
I think they only have to give notice. I don't have to do anything beyond that. So to your point, like you have to issue rejection. That's done what they've done. They give a notice. It's all they're technically required to do.
Well, they're technically required to go through the community board process for us to do our thing. But yeah, Bob.
So I'm going to take a few minutes here.
Oh, no. Bob, is it about, no. Is it about the two
Yes.
resolutions that we're doing?
It's about something.
Bob, are you on topic for the 2 denials? Is this related to that or is this new?
Tammy, I am going to talk about the applications 1 and 2.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You could determine if that was true or not. Because I'm passing out around for the education of this committee an article written on high potency marijuana, which whether or not they're illegal or legal, they're ruining the brains of young people. I would not vote for any pot store under certain, until they do what this professor is talking about. The marijuana industry doing 2 things. One, they are opposing in many states low potency marijuana because they want to addict your children. And I think it was Vera who said to me, all these new stores, most of them illegal and legal, look like candy stores because they want to addict your children. They want to addict your children. And we should not approve any pot store until, and this is a ruse also, the illegal versus the legal. We should be opposed. Someone's got to take a stand on this. I speak to a lot of parents probably, and I don't know one parent that is happy with the way this is being rolled out in this city. And I think I would say this, on 1 and 2, we oppose it on a procedural matter, on procedure. Okay, I agree with that. You could oppose it on a procedural matter. Number 3 is being approved, even though one of the tenants of the building asked not to have that store in her building. So I would oppose, even though I would oppose the 3rd resolution. I would ask the community board to oppose the third resolution. You can vote for 1 and 2, and then for 3, I would oppose that and send that back until the state of New York starts dealing with the problem. And I know I'm not the only person on this community board that feels this way. This has to change. And until grassroots make a change, and we just go like lambs to the slaughter, I'm sorry, being so dramatic, approving, disproving. You came to the meeting, we like you, here, we approve your pot. Selling your pot, selling your 20% pot, THC level. So, that's it.
Thank you, Bob. And when we get to the one where we're, for the third one, I expect you to come back and say that again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Susan.
I just want to remind everybody that part of this and why we put down and do the rejection and send the letter is to be on record. Because if we don't do that, we get screwed by the state as we would by the state liquor authority. I tell you that all the time. And so if we out and out reject, Bob, I don't disagree with you on any point. If we reject an application, we must have a reason, and it must be a very sturdy reason, not because we don't want it or whatever, or one person has, is against it. We have to have backup, and we have to have
Just
the
gave
real.
an article.
I understand. I'm not gonna argue that one. But I just want everybody to remember the predicament they always put us in.
Of course, they're on the side of the industry.
Well,
What about the money, Bob? All the money.
Okay, Cody, you're next.
Just to your point, well, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. I mean, that's the thing, and it's like some retailers are working within the rules that are, they're flawed, they may be, but, you know, it's better to have some regulation, and these people are coming to us in good faith, you know, whereas the other shops are just popping up, and we don't know what they're selling. There's absolutely no regulation at all.
Thanks.
So, that's.
I could speak to that,
Jess?
but
No, Jet, no, we're going, remember the Roberts rules. Everybody gets to talk once. We go around the room. You must be recognized by the chair. Lucy has said, I can't have my gavel back, but I have a water bottle that I can use as a gavel. So.
Lucy's gonna go get it. Somebody get. Our sergeant.
Okay, Jess.
I won't say everything, but we are always complaining about unlicensed.
Louder, please. We can't hear
We're
you.
complaining about unlicensed shops. Well, here is our opportunity to bring them into the fold. You can't have it both ways. You can't want not unlicensed shops and then oppose all licenses for licensed shops. The whole point of this legalization is to bring these people out of the shadows to stop this from being sold on the black market. If you know, you're worried about kids buying them on someplace in Church Street, if they don't buy it there, they're gonna buy it on a subway platform. You're not gonna stop kids from smoking marijuana. The whole point of this is to take it out of the shadows and to make a legal industry. So just opposing them across the board is crazy and just brings us back to Nancy Reagan era. Now, back to what I was saying before, I just don't believe that all of these people with their license with their business completely on the line, they need this license to operate, neglected to show up. I think that we are missing something that as.
I welcome you to come to the office and look through all of the email chains, stay in the office when they come and hand them in, and be a part of the process. Absolutely, I'm sorry you don't believe, but we have the documentation. You may vote as you wish, but I really object with calling the office a liar. I am telling you, that is saying, you don't believe, I get that, but the work that the office does has been above and beyond on this. I am the first one to toss my own team under the bus, but we don't dot our i's and cross our t's. However, in this situation, absolutely, everybody got emails, everybody was contacted. I spent time in offices calling for those that had phone numbers.
I'm not disputing, Tammy, I'm just saying that is it possible?
I tell you what, I'm gonna make a suggestion. We have a cannabis training with OCM and the community boards. I encourage you and I will be happy to have you attend that meeting in lieu of going to the jail for us. So you can hear all 12 community boards and the issues that they're having and the representatives from OCN. I am happy to share with you the letter that we sent to our electeds on this. All right, and with that, I'm moving to the next person with their hand up. Next, do I have anybody else with a second hand up? Mitch.
Susan, well, I always understand that point about, because we deal with it in the resident committee about better to say something and have some regulations. The only thing, in reading the article that Bob handed out, this is where it becomes difficult, where we're not comparing apples to apples, where the THC content back in the 60s to the 80s was 2%, and now they're selling, whether it's legal or illegal, over 20%. And that, if something could be done about that, whether it's legal or illegal, I think that's what Bob's point is, because it's not apples to apples of what the marijuana thing was during the Reagan year. So that's where I think there's some justification for what Bob was saying, even though I agree with you in principle about the, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna answer when we get to the one that's talking about the cannabis store that we were going to approve. I'm gonna answer that comment because if you look at the back of the resolution, it's on there.
I know it's in there.
Okay,
Very good.
Okay, good. So let's do,
Still on.
do I have anyone who would like to call the question?
I call the question and second it, that's fine, because I'm.
Okay, called by Susan, seconded by Justine. This is for the two sets of denials, the withdrawal and the no-shows. Okay, since it's been called and second, we're gonna go by affirmation. Assume that everyone is a yes. Are there any no's? You must state your last name and vote.
Coleman, no.
To which?
To the denial, to both, to both. To even the one where the people withdrew?
Yeah, on that one, I just think it's moved.
Okay, great.
So your vote is no to both?
Yes.
Okay.
Goldstein votes yes.
Thank you. Was there anybody else who was not in the room for the other vote who would like to vote?
Joel votes yes.
Amoruso is a yes.
Amaruso has to have his camera on. Okay, is there anybody else?
On my phone.
Okay, great. Are there any? That was yes, no's. Are there any abstentions? Are there any recusals? Hearing none, motion passes. Now, up to 35 Wall Street. This is the applicant who came in and did not withdraw. Are there any questions? Justine, you go first.
Thank you, and I think I'm stealing your thunder, but my question, looking on page 2 of the.
Yep.
Sheet of paper by 35 Wall Street, one of the whereases is, the community board requests that all cannabis products are labeled appropriately, clearly displaying their THC levels, and the applicant has indicated they are only selling high-end items. Fine, does that even?
Read the one below that. Read the next one.
Only, okay, yes, true, the community board urges applicant to use only the lowest possible range of THC levels. Another one too. Do those two things even
So
address
let me,
this? Is my question to Bob. Because,
Bob, okay, are you done with all your questions?
yeah,
Bob, can you answer that, please?
okay, I can answer it and give more information. It's in the resolution. It means little because at the last meeting, you had the woman that wanted to open up the store and said it's not available. And only through constant pressure, so I'm gonna vote no on this, I urge other people to vote no on this, and people are gonna ask why. And we're gonna say, because the industry itself is corrupt, trying to addict your children and fry their brains. And you could and I'm in contact with a neuroscientist, and I am in contact with this professor here. But I want to say one other thing. Illegally on the streets or in some of the shops, I found out they're selling something called your daddy's weed at lower THC levels. You know, I've been around the block a few times.
Anything?
No, your daddy's weed. Anybody here have any? No.
I might be going on this way. Okay. I think it's relevant for this applicant that you would like to have on the resolution.
I can't, Timmy, everybody goes all over the place. The elected officials go all,
Jason's waving
I
at
just
me.
want to say one thing.
I thought he was
Is that to educate people, is that the industry itself has rejected legislation in many states to lower the THC level in marijuana. They've rejected it. And you can contact us, you can contact this professor, you can contact a neuroscientist Heard at Mount Sinai. You can, they know what they're doing. And they're not nice people. And government is going along with it. And thinking they're gonna collect a windfall.
Okay.
And that is all I have to say. So I am gonna, even though I appreciate the insertion of this language, and I encourage it to be in any of the language, I still vote.
I have a question or maybe a point. At the licensed dispensaries, aren't customers required to show ID to go in? That's true at Housing Works dispensary.
Yeah,
You
it's,
have to be 21 years old. So,
it's part of the legal requirement, yes.
but not at the illegal shops.
Yes.
But we're not voting on any legal shop, we're voting on the legal one.
I know, I understand.
Okay, thank you, Cody. Are there any other questions in the room on this applicant? Jared?
Hats on the number of applications, said there 3 applications again at a time?
So they cast a wide net because it's a lottery, right? They apply, there are multiple applicants applying in multiple community boards across the city, trying to find a space. It doesn't, there's no, when it finally gets up to where it's going, I will only use the gentleman who came for 35 Wall sent 4 applications into us.
Right.
Of which 3 of them he withdrew at the meeting. And it's noted on here that he withdrew those applications because he was trying to find locations. He found locations, but this is the one that he is pursuing and renting. So he can send a notification for all of those locations that he is coming forward. But he came to the board saying, I withdraw those other ones. This is the only one I'm going for.
What about across different communities?
He can do the same thing in many community boards.
There's no restriction.
Because, but when he gets up to OCM, it's a lottery.
So even if we approve him, there's no guarantee he's gonna get it.
Correct. Any other questions from anybody else?
May I call?
Elizabeth, last question is Elizabeth.
The last point is a valid one. It doesn't pertain to what we're specifically talking about right now.
Elizabeth, you must be much louder and face the owls, please, or come say.
Bob's point is a valid one, and we should pursue it. I mean, it doesn't pertain to this, what we're talking about, this issue right now, but we should pursue it on a higher level, on a legislative level, and see what we can get done, you know?
We can put it on the,
Not optimistic.
we can put it on the agenda.
Yeah.
For December to have a discussion, have our elected representatives here and see what we're talking about with legislation and rules. How's that?
Yes.
And we're gonna have Jess come help us and investigate all of the rules and regs.
It should be on the youth committee agenda.
Okay, so do I hear, this is for 30, yes.
On most of the applications, there's a question about community support and letters of support. And on this particular application, there was
He did
none.
not send it.
Right, no, there was none. They didn't answer that question. And it's not in the resolution.
He said he was going to at the meeting. Did he submit, when he sent the signed stipulations, did he send the community letters of support? Are you making
At least I don't remember.
are you making a suggested amendment to the resolution?
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you like it to be? Whereas whereas applicant stated they would have a petition of support and has not provided
Well,
it.
you have to say it that way, because
Is that what you're trying to get to?
Well, I guess if you're saying that they said
They
that.
said they were going to in the meeting, so I think we do need to say that's a really good point. And I just assumed that by the fact that we're here, they
He
did.
is.
And we
Let's
have
just
one
not remember-
person that lived in the building
Who object?
who objected. And on the application, it says, in that portion, it says the building has 300 plus people, but no letters of support.
Okay, we can add that, it's no
Yeah.
problem.
And
I will
that's
say, if you
stipulated.
remember, he did change the hours based
Yeah.
on our feedback for the neighborhood.
And complied with 70 hours.
And,
right.
yes, he was reduced down to 70 and he complied with not being open until 9 AM to
Correct.
ensure that,
9 PM.
Not open until 11,
right,
so that he could stay open until 9 for 7 days.
Yeah.
right, but that, I mean, the thought process was that he would not be open in the morning as people were going to school and work.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Andrew,
Table.
Right.
is there a second?
It's good as not, he's had it up for a while.
Okay. So not hearing a second, we continue on. Hold on, Jared, you're next. Somebody else's hand I recognize first who hadn't spoken.
Sorry.
Andrew.
Can someone just clarify the second to last whereas? Holding events? Definition related to holding events or short capacity or?
So he has said that he will not be hosting events there, which is a good thing for us. We did advise him that if there was any other, that he needed to accommodate large, like, extra noise for large venue versus a small, because his store has a capacity of 200 people. Jared,
I want to propose an amendment, and I recognize that you may not be able to do this, but I want to go on record regardless, which is to have the exclusively as a school, the word exclusively taken out and the same road language taken out, or have it apply consistently across places of worship. It's just not in the statute.
I'm exclusive.
It's not.
So
For liquor, but it's, not to sound like a broken record, but I'm saying.
I took it off, let's just take it off with the word school.
Jared has read it, I'm telling you.
I'll just take it, how about we just take it off where it says,
Right.
and its grounds occupied as a school.
Get out the word exclusively.
Yeah, just take out the word exclusively.
Does that do it, Jared?
It does, the same road language isn't in there either, but.
No, no, it's not on purpose.
What, but it is in the.
which one?
Well,
Says representing no schools. I'll take off and on the same road and exclusively.
it's not really applicable to this.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine. I'll take it off.
Okay, thank you.
Just in general, you know how we were talking about the one that's on Greenwich Street, that's across from the community center? Why are we not having any language that applies?
Sorry, can we?
Can't hear you. Sorry.
Louder and for the,
Do we have any language that applies to community centers?
we don't have the public use community facility center on this. It's not relevant for this application,
I didn't
but we can use it for another one.
Yeah, because we were talking about one of the shops that's opening on Greenwich.
It's not opening,
Well,
that we define.
we did it. He's on Greenwich Street, he's on.
The applicant who came
Yeah.
on Greenwich Street is not opening, is not currently open. There are illegal stores that are on that street, but not the applicant who came. Right.
So anyway, we're talking about opening on Greenwich Street, which is right across the street from Trinity's Community Center, which is primarily a lot of youth in there. And so we need to.
But he's not opening that store. They're illegal cannabis stores that are on the street, that is on the same street as PS 150, on the, within a 500-foot rule, which is by the youth community facility, but they're all illegal. They're not legal. Okay, Mariama?
From what were you reading at the executive committee meeting when we told the veteran that he
The law.
have his place because of exclusive use. You read that from.
It was statute law. It is a statute.
Okay.
But there are many lawyers who are looking at this very differently from the proposed rules to the finally adopted rules. Either way, it doesn't make a difference whether it was what I mentioned at exec or that applicant who was denied and ultimately withdrew. It doesn't make a difference because whether it was exclusive or not, he was still within 500 feet of the building, and it was an exclusive building, so it did not make a difference. Because PS 150 goes from Trinity to Greenwich. It has the entire building and on Edgar, so it's got 3 streets that found that one building.
May I call the question?
Second.
Okay, question has been called and seconded. All right, we will do a vote by affirmation again, so are there any opposed? Okay, you're gonna call names for opposed, and we're gonna start over here.
Names, please.
Galloway, opposed.
Lerner.
Opposed, right, Joe?
Ushma Pandia.
Rosa Chang opposed. You're opposed.
Yes, Calendly opposed.
And Townley opposed. Are there any others online who are opposed? Oh, Curtis opposed. And who else?
Again, Mahoney, Galloway, Lerner, Pandya. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. You have Sonia as well?
Yep.
And Rosa Chang.
Yeah, just can't.
All right, is there anybody else online who would like to oppose? Are there any recusals? Are there any abstentions?
There's number 3, correct?
This is number
This is for, this is for 35 Wall Street.
Number 3. So I'm going to stand on that.
Abstain. Froman abstains.
Brown Kennedy abstained.
Brown Kennedy abstains.
Okay.
Star abstains.
Was that?
Star. Any others? Okay. I believe motion carries. All right, fantastic. So that is one more resolution we have for the Littman Commission. Very timely and very ripe, considering that we're going through the design guidelines again this week. I'm gonna have Alice take this one, please.
Thanks, yeah, this was an idea that, seemed timely. As many of you know, the Littman Commission began in what was that? Sorry. Okay.
Go ahead, keep going, don't worry. Okay. Just getting the shot.
In setting up the borough-based jail plan in 2016, a commission was appointed to do this and to help with justice concerns and setting up the actual new jail system. And since just recently it was dismantled, you probably know that we are not going forward after 7 years with the original plan for this jail, hence why we have a new shot at many things, including design guidelines. And the commission is now being reestablished. And so with the same judge, former state judge, Jonathan Littman, will be the chair of it. It is not an appointee by the mayor or city council. It's a little bit unclear as to who's making these appointments. But this particular resolution is trying to support the idea that the missing piece in the earlier commission was any voice from any community board where the borough-based jails are located. So this particular resolution is asking Judge Littman and those involved to make sure that this commission includes individuals who represent their communities where the borough-based jails are. Happy to entertain questions. That's what it's about. Yes, Bob.
And what's the end game on this? The jail is being built.
Well, I mean, it's being built, it was supposed to be built 7 years ago. The end game is that you, as a community board, as a community member, have a say as to what this would look like and many other possibilities than the ones that were presented 7 years ago that didn't work.
Like
The fact is, the reason that this has been resurrected is that the jail population has risen tremendously. The costs have gone.
But you only have 2 questions.
We have games.
Construction drawings have been.
No, not at all. This is why there's the design guidelines being
So
tomorrow.
there has been no.
There hasn't even been a team that's been assigned.
There has been no contract
that is not even a designer yet.
Right, okay, okay.
It's in the middle, so that's why it
So
would
it's
be
still
great.
time to impact.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you.
absolutely, yep.
And there's no money.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have all those
No
great
money,
mayor
they
cutbacks, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I was at the meeting, on this, and the representative said that there's still time to make changes. But in hindsight, I was thinking, it's already been advertised with the scope of work and the design. So it's not. No design.
There's no design.
But the scope has already been, the project's been advertised. Is that true?
I mean, that the borough-based jail plans have been registered and identified as a plan by the city of New York, yes. And that this mayor is in support, although he says the plans are flawed, with the idea of closing Rikers. I mean, the plans are based on the closing of Rikers Island. Nobody is opposing that in August of 2027. That has already been postponed as a date. Right now, Rikers is 90% towards receivership. But this is a moment where everything is in play. Nothing has been decided. No, the plans were based on 3,300 beds. Now there are over 6,000 that are needed. So there are tremendous changes, the cost overruns, where we put, this whole new campaign to have mental health segregated from this, there's a lot going on here that is different from 7 years ago. And so this is an amazing opportunity, which is kind of quietly being put forth, where we really should get in loudly and clearly. And no, to your question, it is not a done deal.
Okay,
We're still listening to it, guys.
Well,
Okay, it's 20.
Can I call the question?
Yes.
absolutely.
Second.
Second.
Okay, so we vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed? Are there any recused? Are there any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. I did testify at the open dining based on what we've done. We'll post up that testimony. We did both written and oral. It was lots of fun. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. We'll see what the guidelines come out. For cannabis, we're gonna do a resolution next month on CB1 guidelines that are specific, which will include non-exclusive use considerations and will include both public and private community facilities.
Yes.
And will include parks, and playgrounds.
Next semester.
Next, thank you.
Okay, for me?
Yep.
All right.
Can I just say that Lucy is reminding us that there's the 10-minute rule for all.
Yep. If you do not have a resolution, and you have a report, you have to be 8 to 10 minutes, or Mimi's gonna get you.
The minimum need to get me, so I'll go fast. And it's also 20 after 7 already, and I'm the first recording. All right, so everyone knows, we've all heard it, public session, we heard it, everyone, many people are against 41-43 Beekman as the shelter. We will invite them back, we will have our, council person come, we're gonna go forth and trying to. I mean, many of us are not opposed to having a shelter, but not at that location.
Wilson, sorry.
105 Washington Street is going forward. It's supposed to open 2024. We will again have, because Marcia is new, she will come back in January. I'll invite her to come back in January. We'll continue our discussions about that. The Alexander Hamilton Custom House, they're doing construction. If you go on to the YouTube and you look at our meeting for that night, you'll see all the drawings. There's been a lot of wear and tear on the basement and sub-basement, water damage, not due to Sandy, but just due to the fact that the building was built in 1907 and it has issues. So they're going to be working on that. And do I have, what's the information I have on that? It's going to be a 3-year project. They're working on entrances, the sub-basement. Alice asked if there was anything stored down there that, no, they don't have any artifacts or anything stored down there. What else? Let's see. What's the next thing? Residential waste. We had the Department of Sanitation come to talk about, it wasn't residential waste, it was about commercial waste program that started last week. All private carting has now got to be containerized. So, and if you see, which like on my block, The Burger King is putting half of their garbage in a container and half of their garbage still in bags on the street, and the rats are still getting to it. Please call 311. But any private carting has to be containerized, so restaurants, private schools, any of the, federal, anything that is not city pickup has got to be put in a container. Demolition, let's see, all right, so DC comes every month, everybody knows that. If you have any particular project that you want to discuss, it's happening on your block or close to you, please come and discuss it with GDC. The Flea Theater was brought up by Mitch and Jean Grillo because they were having outdoor activities, which they really shouldn't be having. They were having events on their patio. The noise that they were and rehearsals, the noise that they were generating has been really difficult for the residents that live nearby to live with. So we've asked them to come. We're trying to negotiate with them to either cease or limit the amount of activity that they have on that patio space. They'll come back in January. We're not meeting in December, and we'll just continue negotiating. But that's it. Questions?
When are you meeting in December?
We are.
I'm not.
Did I say December? I'm sorry,
Sorry,
January.
I misunderstood.
January, and we're always the third Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Agenda?
You were in great shape. You missed a hand, but we're moving on.
Oh, sorry.
On the report, yeah, you've got 1 minute. Go for it.
All right, well, I just want to talk, that comment about the shelter, 4143.
Louder.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people, in the public session, having a knee-jerk reaction against the shelter, I think, in that neighborhood. I live down the block, I have a child, I don't have a knee-jerk reaction to a shelter in my neighborhood. I'd rather see a shelter where people are housed and people sleeping on the street. I don't think a shelter is by definition dangerous to my child or other children. I don't think housing homeless people is something that's inflicting to a community. And I think, yes, we should have input on the shelter. We should have input on how the shelter is managed, what the details are gonna be. But when I hear people say, oh, we can't have a shelter in our community because there's a school down the street, or because there's children walking in the street, there's absolutely no evidence that I have seen that having a shelter in your community creates that type of danger. I remember when there was the shelter on William Street at the former Radisson Hotel, people in the community complained that the sky was falling, and they even brought lawsuits to try to stop the shelter. But when the shelter opened, there was nothing, there was no problem.
Nope.
And I think this knee-jerk reaction against the shelter by people in the community is entirely misplaced.
I will say that your facts are a little bit off, because in the beginning there were issues, but when a new operator came, they were worked through, dealt through, and it was about partnership, but it was also a different type of thing. It was not what this is. So you have to hear everybody's concerns. No one's saying we don't want any shelters, but Community Board 1 is well suited with seats in our local schools to support families with children. And that's just an easy fact.
That might be true, Tammy, but I don't see that many families with children sleeping on the sidewalk. And I don't like to walk on Fulton Street and see people sleeping on the sidewalk. I don't like to walk in the Fulton Transit Center and see people sleeping on the floor in the Fulton Transit Center. I would see, if someone's sleeping on the floor outside in the freezing weather, they should have a place to go and get shelter and not have to sleep on the street.
Yeah, and we should be, we should be able to find a fantastic location for that to happen. Across the street from the school might not be the best sited. Colin, and then Desi, and then we move on because, Mimi, everybody gets 1 minute. Colin, one.
Yeah, you got most of what I just said, but what I want to be clear, it's not down the street from the school. It's 11 feet from a school. It's directly across.
Let me finish, please. Let me just
Let me finish, please.
Please sit down.
It's 11 feet across the street from a school. It's directly across the street from a school. Let me talk. I believe that there needs to be shelter for people who deserve it. I believe that the city needs to take care of people who deserve it. But at the same time, we need to really think about where that location should be. I don't like some of the things that people said on the phone either. That was a wrong way of classifying people in need. But it's not down the street from the school. Let's at least be honest. You're as guilty as the people this morning or earlier today.
Morton, we'll discuss this in
Can I have
committee.
time back?
Everybody
January.
everybody gets 1 minute to go around to make a comment on a report. It will be discussed in committee again in January. I urge you, please, to go. We want to help as many people as we can. We want to balance community need. That's all it's meaning.
Or Zoom, just my minute back, or some time back. I just want to say you're just as guilty as some of the people earlier in the call, earlier in the meeting, about making this about issues that people aren't talking about, right? Like, let's have an honest discussion about it. Let's have a factual discussion
In January.
in January.
Thank you. Mimi, who has not said a word, and then Desi. And then Francis, you're going in January.
So I have a question.
The shelter wouldn't necessarily house the people that are on Fulton,
Right.
just to be clear. And there's a lot of homeless people that don't live on the street, they just need shelter, right? Like, there's a large spectrum of people that need housing. And it's entirely possible that people that are on Fulton wouldn't accept the help if they were
Correct.
offered it. And just to be clear.
And hopefully those people will have that opportunity to go to the shelter that we have being built at 105 Washington, which is a safe haven shelter that they can come in and they're not, and they can go out and they can come in.
But also, I live next to a shelter in Brooklyn and it's been fine.
Yep. Desi?
I just wanted to know, is it our committee, our quality of life committee, or the larger committee who would do like fact finding about where an alternative place would be? Because everywhere you go, no one, it's very NIMBY. Like, nobody wants a shelter near them, near their school, near their supermarket, near their beauty salon. Nobody wants it. But I just want to know then where does it go? And who makes that decision, or who does that troubleshooting, fact finding, information gathering about acceptable places where shelters can and should be?
So we're supposed to be part of a partnership with the agency to do that. We did that during COVID. We looked at all kinds of temporary shelter locations and went through that exercise with Pat and several others during COVID, right during 2020, when they were looking to, get people off the streets in the winter.
This committee or another?
It was a subsect of exec.
Okay.
And it's certainly something that we can go do again. That'll be discussed in January at the Quality of Life Committee. But so anything about this topic will be discussed in January at the Quality of Life Committee. And we're at 9 minutes and 50 seconds for this committee's reports. So I know Susan and Francis are chomping. One of you can speak, and then I'd like to close the committee report and move to the next one.
But I just.
Okay,
The problem is that we haven't been involved in this.
They haven't asked us.
That's what
We're supposed to be, Desi, part of the conversation, and the agency is not deemed that. Yes.
Some shelters have certain requirements for you to be there. And if there was a requirement that these people be working, would that make a difference to the community?
Can I have
Would
my
it be,
passport?
That's a great question for January.
Right, no.
I want you all to remember something.
And Elizabeth
Someone
gets the last
who,
word.
ran shelters, it was part, okay? It's all about the services and who runs it.
Right. That's right.
That's the question you always have to ask. That's the critical piece in all of them. Whether it's men or not, that's a different question. But the question is who's running it and how they're running it and what's their track record.
And that should be discussed in January.
Yeah.
Because we do have that.
In January, can we make sure that whoever is coming to talk about the shelter has some data points for us? Is that?
Well, we're gonna request that.
There's so many assumptions.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I agree with everything everyone says here about homeless shelters. I mean, I agree with Morton. We talked about this many times, right? But there is this assumption out there that there are some mentally ill, violent, homeless people, and that's not wrong, by the way.
Right, that's correct.
We know it. So I want to know, I want someone who can come in and explain to us what's going on, why this is happening. Are these people the type of people that will be going to shelters anyway, even if provided in our neighborhood? Maybe they're not. I mean, so I feel like we need, make assumptions, we need more data here.
So-
Definitely. Like people who can actually.
Okay.
report, yeah.
That is for January. That was asked for December, for November. They didn't bring it. We'll be reinstating the question again in January. We invited the operator to come. We asked for a CAB meeting, whatever you want to discuss it. And we will keep pushing this. And we have the support of our electeds to keep details and dialogue going. With that, Pat, are you done with your report? Fantastic. Next slide. Next committee? I think that's you.
It's
Patrick. Yeah. Slide, please.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Very short update for you guys. So we had our quarterly update for the Downtown Alliance. 4 quick takeaways. Commercial leasing still remains stagnant, and with the exception of a couple of big government leases, the vacancy rate still remains the second highest it's ever been in Lower Manhattan. But in the good news, retail is back to where it was almost pre-COVID. And a lot of that has come from the food and beverage industry, which mostly is non-chain restaurants. So that's good news. Residential conversions continue apace with a few of the big ones that I'm sure you guys have read about in the news. And then lastly, the fourth point is that the Alliance is putting on a few cultural programs and art around the area, including what they're calling Art Above the Mantle, which is a kind of a holiday themed art installation at some vacant storefronts throughout the district. Check out the Downtown Alliance's website to find out more about specific locations. And I think they may be having sort of an opening night tomorrow, like Thursday, so check that out. Second, the City of Yes initiative, our zoning for economic opportunity, citywide zoning text amendment is in ongoing review. I told you last month that we were going to be having a resolution come December, but a number of the community boards in the city petitioned the Department of City Planning for additional time, and lo and behold, Chairman Garodnick said yes. So we're going to be taking up a resolution in January. So we'll continue to ask more questions as we did in our November meeting. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, this is not related to those, but it's related to this, to the committee. Do you know the latest about 45 Park Place that
No,
everything, it's still.
I don't know. We've just heard nothing. Don't know one way or another.
Any other questions? Fantastic.
2 minutes.
Thank you. Sue Friedman, you are next for landmarks, please.
Okay. I made some changes to the first one, so why don't we take that last? And,
Too bad. Too bad.
what, do we have slides or no?
Yes.
So let's just skip this couple first. Yep. Mhm. Nope. Oh, yes, okay, that one. So this was, this must be Franklin Street, okay. Which one is this? This is the corner of Franklin Place and Franklin Street. And it's in a proposal to add a second elevator bulkhead, which is here in this mock-up. It's not so bad, and the building, it doesn't overwhelm the building, so we voted to approve it. It's gonna provide private roof access to the person who has a couple floors below it. So that's 70 Franklin. Next one, 55 Hudson Street. This is Staple Street and Hudson, well, it goes through Hudson, it's Staple, and I believe maybe Duane, and you can see, these are the two windows that are being replaced. They're obviously not original windows. They're likely not original window openings. And we felt that the replacement windows with these, with this way of cutting up the windows in steel windows was actually possibly more like an original configuration of a window type that you'd see on a building like this. And so we felt that it was appropriate and fine to do that replacement. the next one, next, okay, great, wow, this is something, unless we got it wrong, the applicant is going to recreate these non-original storefronts here on the west half of the building. I'm sorry, non-original, but historic. These are probably, definitely not original, but they are probably from, like the 1920s or even the 1890s. But in any case, you can see how they're gonna really complete the double wide building facade by putting back in these transoms and some new doors, and they're using all the materials we like painted wood and cast iron, and they're also restoring the entire facade, top to bottom, paint, stone. A lot of that stuff is not really for our, meeting, but we felt like it was a really strong proposal. So we are.
Why are they doing that?
God only knows what they're doing. If they were fabulous, they want to do it.
I love it, but I'm like.
The owner called in and said they just want to refurbish their property and keep it beautiful, right?
Who's the owner?
It's not us.
The owner's the condo.
The condo. They called in, yeah.
Wonderful.
It's the old City Hall restaurant?
That's what I was.
No.
I feel like, there's the kids' school in it, Washington Market, right?
There's like retail.
L&O Frame, there's a bunch of different old timers in there. Okay, let's go back to the corner of Church Street and Walker. Is that what it is? Right, okay, so, let's go through this. So we actually, I wrote a resolution last minute and Alice pointed out some stuff thankfully to try to make it less confusing. Lucy, I sent you that. I don't know how to really revise here, but basically the long and short is, the proposal was to do, let's say, 4 or 5 moves that we thought were really not appropriate, but if the applicant was to remove these aspects and kind of do it more basically, we would allow them, we could, get behind the proposal. So first of all, there's a 1-story building on the corner of Walker. I forget what bar it was. Been a ton of bars.
Still is.
Right. It's not a contributing building. And that's actually this part, which would be, they're proposing as a new building. This building is an L-shaped building that goes through Walker Street and has a similar facade. What they were proposing here was to rip out all of the windows, disconnect the facade from the floors, and put a interior areaway, which we thought was pretty much ludicrous. So, that's one item that they said they would remove from their proposal. They would instead just go with replacing the windows, no areaway, kind of just restoring the facade. Number 2 was we thought that the street wall of this new building should be only as high as the rest of the street walls on the block, which is approximately 75 feet. Also, that there be no visibility above that kind of street wall of the 2 floors that are being proposed to be added to the 34 Walker Street / Church Street building, and only roof bulkheads be minimally visible over kind of this facade street wall. So it's kind of just the basic appropriate things that we asked for in our applications. If they would walk that back and confirm that they're doing that, we would support a developer tearing down the 1-story building to make an appropriate building and redeveloping an existing warehouse building. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so just,
We worked on this.
yeah, you said the final, whereas it's at the Community Board 1 Landmarks Committee meeting, the applicant agreed that the proposal would be revised to ensure that The new proposal, 1, does not include terraces at each floor behind the cast iron facade. 2, does not have a building taller than 75 feet exceeding the context of the adjacent building's cornice lines. 3, the additional 2 stories proposed with 34 Walker will not be visible from the street. 4, that no removal of any windows on the 19th century conforming building at 34 Walker Street takes place. At 4, that any roof bulkheads are minimally visible. Therefore, be it resolved, CB1 recommends LPC to disapprove the proposal until the above noted promised revisions are confirmed.
So we're kind of talking about like.
Right.
What's here, this is it's changing when it says.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's expanding and making it better.
Yeah, we accept it, yeah.
We accept it.
Disapprove.
Unless they do the 4 things that Alice said, not that
Yeah.
Alice said, but they said that they would do in the meeting, which was slightly confusing, but there's nothing to be confused about the fact, and anyone speak up who was there. If you don't do these 4 things, we're not interested in.
Correct.
In promoting this going.
Correct.
And as long as the resolution says that, it sounds like it did.
If
but-
you
Yeah.
get there
Yes.
through
Yeah.
whatever Alice and I did and.
Yeah, just what I just read are the 5 that were noted in your,
Yeah.
in this.
So can I call the question?
Yes.
Second. Well, how are we doing this?
Take just, well, we can take them all together.
So,
Yep. Carol, sorry.
Question was called, and the question was seconded. So the question procedurally, we're
You're
done
out.
with questions.
You're out.
But the question that I have, because I'm not sure, was that called and seconded for all 3 together?
All of them.
Yeah.
There's 4.
4 together?
Yes.
Okay.
I did 4 resolutions.
All of it, sorry. If you abstain, oppose, or recuse on any specific one that's in the 4, you have to say which one. So it's your last name, the vote, and the address. Okay, with that, right, Jason?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine.
awesome. We'll go vote by affirmation. Are there any in opposition?
Forsberg in opposition of the one we just had.
What number is that?
3234 Walker.
On the basis that the existing taxpayer building
Your vote is fine.
would be considered contributing, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, thank you.
1890 is not the only contributing.
Andrew?
Okay, Andrew?
Tribeca.
Shelter opposed to number 2, which is the rooftop garden and elevator bulkhead.
Which number, sorry?
That is Franklin Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other oppositions? Okay, Meltzer abstains, or I'm gonna call for abstentions. Meltzer abstains on 70 Franklin and 32 Walker.
Kucha abstains on.
Sorry, hang on one second. 70 Franklin. All right, so Justine, go ahead.
Kucha abstains on 32 Walker.
Are there any other abstentions?
Just wait.
Okay.
On number 2, the 70, I abstain from the rooftop.
70 Franklin.
Say your name.
Lerner.
Warner abstains. 70, excuse me.
Blank abstained on 70. Franklin.
Right. Okay, are there any other abstentions? Hearing no abstentions online? Are there any recusals? Hearing none, all motions pass.
Yeah.
Yay, thanks, Jason. Okay, Mr. Seltzer, you're up. Waterfront Parks, please.
Hopefully we can get through this without slides. We have 1 resolution and 3 quick reports. The resolution is related to Duane Street Park restoration and expansion. This first came before the board in July of 2021. The plan at that time was to return, this was Friends of Duane Park coming before us. They had a plan to restore the area to its historic footprint. And the plan they presented at the time entailed adding sidewalk along the southern perimeter and a tree to the western tip of the park. That plan essentially added about 1,650 square feet of additional sidewalk and 250 square feet of additional green space. We wrote a resolution supporting the plan and also supporting electeds and agencies to help fund the project. They came back to us with a revised plan. The revised plan was still to restore the original footprint, But instead of a sidewalk on the southern perimeter, they wanted to focus on resilient green space. So it essentially flipped the plan on its head, and that this plan now called for about 1,650 square feet of additional green space and 250 square feet of sidewalk space. They ran a survey or poll around the immediate park area. They had a QR code that people could scan. They had the coffee shop helping them with the survey. And they asked people to opine on 3 options: status quo, the plan with sidewalk and less green space, or the plan with more green space, less sidewalk. They got about 370 responses. Not surprisingly, the overwhelming majority, about 270 responses, were in favor of more green space. So they have come to us asking to essentially provide another resolution in support of this new design plan. They have asked for it because they want to re-engage with DOT and Parks Department to basically get a capital needs estimate. So the resolution before you essentially expresses our support for the plan that they've put forward, and it focuses on more resilient green space versus more sidewalk, as well as a statement in favor of asking the electeds and city agencies for financial support. I have a friendly amendment, which, thanks to Richard, he captured. It's in the second, therefore be it resolved, removing the word prioritize. So elected officials to both prioritize and help fund this restoration project, I guess to remove to both prioritize. So it would read, and elected officials to help fund this restoration project. That's beyond the scope of what we discussed in committee in terms of prioritizing.
Help fund, so get rid of both prioritize.
Yes.
I hear, there we go. I heard a call. I heard a second. Going by affirmation, are there any in opposition? Yeah, to say your last name.
Oh, you vote no.
Okay. Are there any others who?
Amoruso opposed.
Amoruso opposed.
I abstain.
Lerner abstains. Are there any other abstentions? Meltzer abstains. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Do we want report summaries or do we?
Yep, you've got
Okay.
3.5 minutes.
So we had some fairly lengthy and substantive reports. I'm going to provide high-level summaries in the interest of time. We have detailed presentations. We can make those available. The first was regarding the Battery Maritime building. We had a team consisting of Midtown Equities and folks that are involved in the catering and event planning associated with that space. Their objective was to promote the event space. They highlighted that they have had 3 events, September, October, and November. They provided additional information that the application to request space is available online. Space is available at no cost. There are costs associated if you need to have third-party services such as audio, which Tammy mentioned. If you're bringing in tables, linen, those sorts of things. And there's a focus on trying to promote community-based activities. So there was a notion of, since this is a large space, I think they mentioned accommodation of 1,200 plus. Someone can check me on that.
1,100
Okay,
seated.
1,000, thank you. So again, that they're promoting it as space available to the community and large event space. So we broadened the scope of the conversation. Tammy asked some questions, and Alice had sent some requests in before the meeting. So they confirmed there's public access from 9 to 5, 7 days a week. That includes access to a cafe and public restrooms. And then we as a committee discussed that it wasn't an open, inviting environment. There really was no signage or anything that invited the public into the facility. So we asked them to focus on that as a takeaway, to create signage and information that informed the public of their access to that space. We then had a detailed presentation from HRPT on a broad range of activities. Again, some of these were substantive. The estuarium, they've held their third public session. They are now moving into what they described as a schematic planning phase, and we'll come back to the committee as that evolves. They spoke about the status of the science playground, the Victory Chimes historic vessel at Pier 25. They referenced what I'll refer to as coordination with BPCA on the Northern Resiliency, but it didn't seem as particularly detailed in terms of the coordination, so more to come there. They spoke about Rebecca habitat enhancements. I think they mentioned they're in the second year of a third-year plan, if I'm not mistaken. They spoke about opening of Gansevoort Peninsula, which if you haven't been to, you really should. It's essentially across west of Whitney in that general area. And then they issued a cautionary note that it is not safe to swim in the Hudson. And they referenced that because there was an incident with an individual who did swim. Fortunately, they survived, but it was not a pleasant experience.
Lo and behold, I don't know something about Pier 25, the Victory boat, what's its plan?
So it's docked, but it's not really accessible. They don't have the ability to put a plank or whatever it's called to be able to access it, and they didn't suggest there were any plans to do so. So it's there for viewing.
Okay.
There were talks of possibly other strategies, but because there wasn't access, it didn't get into much detail.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then finally, Gotham Park update. Rosa walked us through a very comprehensive visual presentation. I think there were 65 slides of pictures, which were fantastic, although she got through it very efficiently. Just again, some of the takeaways: beautification of the park in the form of hundreds of plantings in coordination with Parks Department and other resources. She highlighted extensive volunteerism that's going on, as well as other events that have happened and will continue to happen. And then somewhat bearing the headline, kudos, they received a $200,000 grant from Trinity Church to facilitate ongoing youth programming. So, no questions?
Next committee, nice job. That'd be Alice.
Okay, I always have the great task of having to synthesize a 2.5-hour meeting on just resiliency in 10 minutes. Okay, louder. All right, really? Okay.
Yes.
So it was the quarterly update for the coastal resiliency plans of Lower Manhattan, provided by the teams that are involved in that, mostly MOCEJ. And the first slide shows you, and I'm just going to talk about what's new here, okay? What you see here is the first time that we're seeing that the plan on the west side of Hudson River shows actually where Battery Park City Authority is now coming into the island and connects it at North 4th Street. That's something new. Go next slide. So we talked about or saw the project timeline, somewhat interesting. Take a minute looking at these, but construction completion for South Battery Park is mid-2025. We're entering 2024, so there you go. The Battery Coastal Resilience Plan 2026, Northwest Battery not until 2028, beginning in April of this year, so that'll be a 4-year period. Seaport Coastal, good news, anyways, they've just issued an RFP for design, designers and design teams being, I guess, teamed up at this point. And then the FIDI Seaport plan, nothing yet concrete. Okay, next. So one interesting piece of news, the mayor has established a new Bureau of Coastal Resiliency at the Department of Environmental Protection. Somewhat, questionable as to what that will provide, but it's supposed to be sort of the idea of having some group that oversees all of these plans. And Jordan Salinger from the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice assured us that the plans that we've seen so far for the FIDI Seaport area will still be controlled and overseen by that agency, not the new coastal resiliency group. Next slide. I feel like I should go like this. I know I'm wondering. Okay, so we heard about the battery, and I think here, take a look at the milestones. You know, that everything is beginning January, this month, next month rather. The demolition of the wharf, the National Park Service transition from the temporary security tent in January, and the start of the pile driving, all starting this year. Next slide. So there were a lot of slides. It was quite a robust presentation, but we did feel that we needed more, and that slides like this didn't really allow us to understand fully what these swatches of color really meant. And so we're looking forward to having three-dimensional plans to talk about what in fact is closed to the public, open to the public, what does really talk about where pedestrians can and can't go in the next few years. And so I would probably reserve that we talk about this at the next time, but what you're seeing here, the green is still open to the public and in different periods during, and then the central portion and the oval, number 4 is where things are being stored, and more on this later. I think it's enough to say that that wharf is now where you, if you go to the park, you'll see you can no longer access, and that's where most of the work is now being done. Very much in process. Next slide. Next, we heard from the group on the financial district and seaport climate plans. Go. And here we looked at, they talked a little bit about this new focus area that they're looking at as a place to identify stormwater practice. What's sort of the area that's best looked at, and Tammy's pointing to show you that in this plan, Pier 6 has moved over here to the south, and is definitely something that's moving target that will be part of upcoming plans. The pump house that this all has to tie into is to the right of that gray block, and we'll be looking more at that in detail. Next slide. And so so they went over some of the stormwater management strategies with us, and so ones that some of you are probably aware of: green infrastructure, permeable paving, these surface detention pools. Next slide. Green roofs and rainwater storage for irrigation and building use. And practice examples, which were kind of interesting, which you can see here: storm tanks, geogrid systems, etc. More of those. Next slide. And then something called parallel conveyance, which we got a whole lot of information on, is, as it states, stormwater management strategy that involves creating an alternative pathway for stormwater to flow, additional. And so this will be tied into that pump house, and that is something that they're looking at currently very carefully in that same area that I showed you earlier. Next slide. Brooklyn Bridge, Montgomery coastal resilience construction. That doesn't concern us entirely, except for the juncture, very important juncture under the Brooklyn Bridge, which thankfully Rosa Chang is out there fighting for. And the upcoming activities, in fact, very much are part of right under the Brooklyn Bridge. Where you see the Brooklyn Bridge noted, you'll see an orange box. That's the Interceptor Gate building, which is in the middle of beginning to get constructed. Next slide. And here are some construction photos, not of that, but of the project. So you're looking at, I forgot now, the gas main installation and some micropiling installations. So this is the BMCR. Okay. In any case, this is what is the interceptor that's going up as we speak, and it is the area where these two projects join. Very important to us, and something that this board has advocated for, thanks to Wendy and to Rosa, for a pool in this area. Keep going. And it comes up at every meeting. Next, we heard about Seaport Coastal Resiliency. I'm not sure whether it's a president, but interesting where that came from. But anyway, there was nothing new here except for the good news that the design team procurement is now underway. So there will be a design team in this next couple of months, which means things are beginning to happen. And so we'll start to see what these plans might really look like. Next slide. So then we got to the Battery Park City Resiliency Project updates. And here you're seeing some information from the South Battery Park City. You see on the left a cistern installation. It's kind of exciting under Wagner Park. And on the right, foundation work for the Wagner Park Pavilion, and exciting to some but not to others. But that is, there's plenty to see. All you have to do is go down there, look for one of those holes. It's an extraordinary construction site. And then unfortunately on the Northwest Battery Park City Resiliency Plans, which Tammy has just noted, there was very little. In fact, there were only, I think, 2 or 3 slides with no visuals as to what really is happening going forward. And so I think they're completely depending on this public meeting on Thursday, right, Thursday, yeah, and which we will circulate again to the board. And, we will underline publicly here how important it is that the authority does, as they had done so much earlier, share with the community board specifically these plans and what's going forward.
And you can see from the timeline that they have for their public engagement. Let's see, any of those? Nope, not one at CV1.
And it's a problem only that, if you want more, if you want to see more of it, have more ability to have input, of course. But the things that they shared, which unfortunately didn't have the slide up, it was just a slide of text. The design update consisted of 6 lines. Reach 1, alignment along Route 9A. On east side alignment, Reach 2, revised extension, consistent 6-foot extension to accommodate future adaptability and circulation. Reach 5, updated Port Authority coordination and sizing and design of path tunnel. And then the topic tables at their upcoming meeting will be tree and landscape considerations, risk and adaptability, and battery parks resiliency projects, and Lower Manhattan coastal resiliency. And I would say respectfully that is woefully inadequate for presentations to this community board on what's going on in the reaches of that very beautiful and wonderful park that we're sure they will create even more beautifully and wonderfully. So we're hopeful that what happened with Lower Manhattan coastal resiliency plans in terms of doing an expo for the general public would be something that happens now. So for example, Battery Park City Authority will have this great public meeting, which I hope you'll all attend on Thursday. And then we'll come back, much like Mayor's office, to discuss those plans in detail. And I think that would be really helpful. So we're looking forward to that occurring. And so don't forget those meetings, and don't forget the meeting, the lunch meeting that Tammy mentioned, to catch up on the Lower Manhattan coastal resiliency. Thank you. That's it. Any questions?
And I will say that Alice, that is the fastest you've ever done. Extraordinarily complicated. Everybody has to recognize this is resiliency. That's 90% of our shoreline. And she just blasted through the whole thing in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. Transportation, Dr. Betty Kay, you're up next.
Thank you.
Joe, sides, make room at the table.
Come this way.
I'm sorry.
You can start with the slides, because I'm not doing it in this order anymore. Yeah, we had a presentation by EDC about New York City Ferry. This is because they have signed a new agreement with Hornblower, and this is to talk about that. So the next one, keep in mind, they come into Pier 11 as well as Battery Park City. There is a program you have to keep in mind, the New York City Ferry Forward is kind of the setting you have to think of. The whole agreement is within, and so you'll see these same points made over and over, such as with the agreement. So in fact, with their big emphasis, improving equity and access to the ferry, enhancing the system's financial sustainability and reduce public subsidy is a big point. Creating new revenue streams, which is part of the point above it, and releasing the new RFP, which is the other part of this presentation that they did. Go on. Yeah, as you can see, they are making headway on these points already. They already have their box revenue going up. They already have a discount program at the same time it's growing. They have a half price tickets for Harvard students, school students. They've also expanded their fares. So there are a lot of opportunities for people who can't afford to pay the full price and shouldn't have to. Okay, next, RFP goals are really to ensure, you'll see they look just the same. Ensure safe, reliable, and accessible transportation. Reduce net costs of the city through greater control of operational expenses. Improving the rider experience and promoting women, business, minority support for a maritime career pipeline, which you're seeing in more and more of the EDC projects. Is building in employment future training into their system.
contracted that touches on all these various things. And so for those who've been making points about what can we add new destinations, that's not a focus of theirs at this particular time. Can we change the routes as they are? That's not a particular focus at this point. That doesn't mean it wouldn't be done if it feeds into the other cost containment or more representation, but nevertheless, that's not the main point of the goals directly. So again, you can see the projection, they're hoping to get the subsidy down quite a bit.
That's the actual subsidy now, $7.50, or they hope to reach that?
In 2020, it was $12.98. Well,
Well-
we're in 2023 now, so again, it's closer to, now it's around $8, it was 25.
When do they hope to hit $7.50?
On this, they're showing it between 2025 and 2026.
2026 is all the way up the right.
Yeah.
Right, but it starts kind of above 2025.
Yeah.
We just can't move it.
Right.
I know.
Subsidized. Good luck.
There are a lot of things subsidized a lot heavier, so I'll point that out.
There's no complaint about that. I'm just saying. Want to know.
But anyway, so those are the things that they're doing. And in fact, as you saw, it is up to 11 years with horn blower. The initial 5 years, and then they have the right to extend potentially for 2 to 3 years, 2-year extension. So again, there can always be modifications, but you don't know. Okay. Pedestrian. This is a resolution, and this is just to remind you, because I've gone through this before. This is looking at the 10th Street from Trinity Place, and it's looking eastward towards Broadway. It is the block, it runs between 2 landmark buildings. None of that has changed. It is a gate for opening, because again, that allows in emergency vehicles. They had to get rid of the idea of bollards because of infrastructure that's underneath. So therefore, be it resolved. The big point of this was, first of all, to reaffirm our past resolution. Keep in mind, there was landmarks to the resolution in 2017 and land use to the resolution in 2018 about this very street. So being consistent with that, the road, the sidewalk, and the building entries have to be flush with each other and meet or exceed accessibility standards for the 2017 Historical District Committee. And this is exactly what the Design Commission was looking at for this point. They've given them a temporary, and they're really getting after this accessibility issue. Accessible public circulation paths are created and maintained. Again, this was the big point of what the PDC is also looking for at this point. Free public seating is created and maintained. This was done in response to the fact that this is a plaza. Plaza rules for open dining are not known, will not be known. We can opine on them later, but they're not. We want to also emphasize now already that very public seating is created and maintained. And that is up from the other resolutions in the past anyway. And also the view corridors are maintained along the length and the width of the plaza. There's still an open field to it. There any questions? That's the whole resolution.
Call the question?
Second. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, he called for a question before it was seconded. So Eric.
Thank you. I voted against it because it's really the privatization of public space. We're basically giving control of this throughway through to the property owner. And I actually think that there is a need to keep it open as a street. With Liberty Street being occasionally closed, it's difficult to get around by personally owned vehicle. Also, by closing the street, the developer, the property owner will control who can make deliveries. And it'll only be for people that are part of that property. So if you're a member of the public and you wanna need a place to stand for your vehicle, you won't be able to use it. So I think we should just sell it to the developer then, because that's what it's eventually gonna lead. They're gonna have control of the street de facto, especially as the plans for the city defines how they're gonna let them use it, which are still TBD. They're gonna end up controlling the street. You might as well sell it. Really great point.
And I think that goes back to the 2007, 2008 resolution. So this is This is not new to this resolution.
No, but
It's important.
it's an important and it could be overturned. I mean, we know what the history is. It is not likely, but it is a dialogue. Jess, you were next, hands up.
Yeah, I think all our streets should look like this. I want more pedestrian flow, less cars on our streets. Like, we all complain about congestion, we all complain about street safety. This is a solution. We should be asking for more of this. It is not the privatization of public space. It is public space. It will be public. It will be open to the public. The privatization of public space is allowing people to use their cars on it and park their cars on it and no one else is using it. This is a very big benefit to our community. If we can't support this, I don't understand what we really can support.
Thank you. Pat and then Mimi.
Many of you know, I live right around the corner from this street. I am totally opposed to us closing the street. I was opposed when we voted on it 5 years ago. After 9/11, the last 22 years have been hell for those of us who live in Greenwich South. We have 6 working streets. They're now about to start a project on Trinity. We're going to have traffic jams. If you want, we have a park a block away. Zuccotti Park is a block away. There's no reason why, and people could have always gone to have lunch there. They don't need to close the street. If you're stuck on traffic on Trinity and you want to try to get out of the traffic, this is one street that goes east. You can go and get onto Broadway and try to circle around and get out of traffic. I'm opposed to the street being closed.
Mimi, and then Cody.
I just think it looks doofy, but I'm fine with it, I guess. I'm pretty torn about it, and I didn't actually have my hand up, I was just, I think like saying like, if we can't support this, then we can't support anything is kind of a ridiculous comment.
Dismissive.
Yeah.
True.
Cody?
I think that more people, more New Yorkers will benefit from this public space than individual car owners who can.
It's like that, so there are emergencies.
4 or 5 cars, you know, that would fit on that space as opposed to hundreds of individuals.
Park here.
I think rethinking what our streets are, they're public spaces, they don't belong just to cars. It's our largest public space.
Okay.
All right.
Colin and then me.
I'll vote for it if we had 2 DC super fast chargers for EVs downtown, but they won't do that, so I'm against this.
Emergency vehicle.
Oh, I was.
Betty, want to Andrew and then, no, I'm next to last. Hold on, Pat and quiet, we can't hear you.
The point of emergency vehicles, in the event of an emergency, can this be open such that there would be emergency vehicle access?
Yes.
Yes, and in the whereas, it says the legally required 15 feet for emergency access will be available. Now, I think I was going to actually pursuant to what Andrew's saying, put the word always available.
Yes.
It's not available in that picture.
Well,
Unless you have to
right,
run over
but one of the points is the photo that they showed does not show a 15-foot clear path for emergency vehicles. It actually obliterates the path. So I think that was, Andrew was kind of, I'm on the same page, and I think that should be in the therefore be it resolved that it is always there, because according to their photos, it's not.
They said you need a key to open.
Yeah, there's something with a key.
You have to have a key.
You have to key to open the gate, but they're supposed to be able to open the gate, but the point is, hold on. If it's an emergency, they have the same thing they have at World Trade, which is an override button, and they can get there. There was Francis and then Jeff.
In support of Pat's concern, I would like to know if you guys looked at the flow of traffic down there, because there's not very many streets that you can go up and down and around and.
And I don't even know the car.
It was not needed.
It was not needed.
Maybe it's 1 or 2 people who want to use it either, right? But nevertheless, there was a traffic study and there was a conclusion that this was.
And who did the traffic study? New York.
Francis.
Building owners did it? Yeah. Right, but it was paid for by the building.
Okay, all right, Francis, question asked, Betty answered, Jeff, we've got hands up, Liz, remember, I still get to go too. Jeff, and then Joe, and then me, Jeff,
I frequent that
and then I'll get to you.
quite a bit and have for the last 30 or 40 years. It's not a pleasant place to be sitting out in the table. It's always in the dark. Both of those buildings, maybe 10 minutes a day, there's some sun in part of that street. I would be very surprised unless they installed artificial lighting in
They
it,
are.
which I would oppose.
It was, it's included.
It'll look like a mall. It'll look like a mall. I don't think this is a good idea for that particular use.
Okay, who did I say was nice to, Joe?
For those of you who think this is great for pedestrians, the city does nothing for pedestrians. This is for landowners. They want it closed, it'll make their place better, the property goes up. It's not for pedestrians. Get that out of your mind.
Okay, after Joe, I'm gonna go Gerald, Joel, who hasn't said a peep in months. Okay, Gerald.
We haven't seen.
I mean, I look at this and I can't help but think of Stone Street, but Stone Street is what, maybe three or four.
Much more.
It's 3 or 4 stories tall, and I don't know how many residences there's some, but I mean, this, I mean, I don't know, how tall are these buildings and how many residences are lining the street?
It's all
commercial.
Trinity-ville.
It's part of, I was gonna say, it's part of our 20,000 square feet of empty office space at the moment that's slated to become residential. And I just think that closing it off puts people's safety in jeopardy ultimately. Even if people are saying that a truck can get in here, a fire truck or whatever, I mean, I just don't see it. And you have a matter of seconds to move equipment in a safety situation, and I don't support it.
Okay, Joel Capel has not said a word.
Not good or bad, just a question about, is there going to be any impediments on the right or left sidewalks to prevent these guys going from 30 or 40 miles an hour on their Uber bikes? So, I don't know about you, but you have to look 6 different ways not to get run over or killed. So I'm wondering if you're closing the street, are the 2 sidewalks going to be a haven for these guys going up and down the sidewalk?
That's a really interesting question.
So unless you can somehow prevent them from doing that, it's going to be a slaughterhouse.
So are you asking for a friendly amendment that DOT includes some way to prevent electric scooters from riding on the sidewalks, on the pedestrian plaza?
And bikes.
Bikes.
Then good Eric in the
There's
corner.
no Betty, that sounds like a nice. Stop, Joe. Betty, that sounds like a nice, easy, friendly amendment.
No, it sounds like that it says that I can't go down the fucking street.
Go down the street. He's talking about the bicyclists.
Stop bicycles, that isn't gonna stop me as well.
That's fine. That's their last, but that's.
Eric in the background.
No. So remember, you've got to be recognized from the chair. We cannot have this this is going to chaos. It's 9:24. We want to continue on. Corey, I think, is in the back with the hand up. Ushma, sorry, I can't see you behind Gerald. I always see the hat.
The only thing I would say, there was a New York Times article in the last 6 months about all of these commercial owners or commercial spaces getting more real estate with the fact that they would make it free and public and accessible. and they're not really making it free and public accessible. I talk often about the architecture where you don't want homeless people sitting there, you don't want vagrant people, so you don't allow seating. So you just maybe, I know it says here with free public seating is created and maintained, but there's, that article talks about how many people have reneged on their promises for public seating, for public access and public spaces and using it for profit. So I don't know, there has to be something about like that has to be true, and if that isn't true, then they should get that in.
By the way, we have,
Everyone says, we'll give it to you, and we're all doing it for the public. And that New York Times article talks about 50%.
we have 5 minutes. That's why we have 5 minutes left on the limit for discussion for this topic. Rosa, and then who's over in the corner?
Eric.
Eric, hi, Eric.
I actually live not that far from here at all, and I use that street a lot to get back and forth on the east, east-west. And it's interesting because it is an unpleasant street. The sidewalks are incredibly narrow. I frequently literally find myself walking in the middle of the street because they are so narrow, which is frankly standard in a lot of FIDI. There just isn't enough sidewalk space. And by the time, you've gotten done with like those, the fire hydrants, the bollards, the things that they actually are showing on there, there isn't enough space for people to actually walk on there. So I would welcome actually making it so I can't get run over by things as I am on that street walking back and forth. And yeah, it just has to do with the fact that it's narrow. It's incredibly narrow.
Thank you, Rosa. Eric.
Just real quick, I try a lot of these cases. Scooters and bicycles in the city of New York, per law, are considered motor vehicles and they're not allowed to operate.
Correct.
Yeah, we know that.
You are pedestrians can be on sidewalk.
But they are.
We know that, but
They are. What he was something, what he was telling you, block.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
So Betty, I've heard a couple things, and I'm the last wind up on this one. Sorry, guys. One, on your whereas, could we add the word always available? For the 15 feet emergency access will always be available.
Yes.
Because it directly controverts the photo that you see here, even though they told us. I think that's a safe thing because it's supposed to be required and it's not.
Always then. So you're saying no tables?
No.
No.
It's a 30-foot expanse street and 15 feet should be left open for emergency access. That's what the law is, and it's not shown in this photo.
It's movable stuff. I mean, the same thing with open streets. You're allowed to do it as long as nothing is fixed.
Right.
That's the
So
regulation.
when we testified for open dining, we said anything that involves any kind of machinery, like a lift or anything that was not easily carried would not be put into or considered removable.
That's the regulations all along. That came up with Staples Street as well.
So you don't want to put in always.
Always has its own problems.
Yes.
Wait, Tammy, can I speak? It's Laura. About this.
Yeah, Laura, go.
I think the movable tables and chairs count as, it makes it accessible for emergency vehicles. The question is whether that barrier that says Thames Street, is that a swing gate that can open to let an emergency vehicle in?
Yes, it's a swing gate with the key.
Then it's accessible. Then they've met the standard.
Then they've missed the standard.
All right, so I would,
Okay, so Betty says no to always.
she's saying no to always, but then in the therefore be it resolved, I'd like to add a 15-foot emergency is available.
But it is
And-
available because this thing can swing open and the tables and chairs can move.
The tables and chairs.
The fire truck, that's the point. There's a cow gate on the front of it.
Stop. And then the only other thing that, because I actually do support the resolution, believe it or not, I voted against it in 2018. I'm gonna vote for it today with one caveat. I'd like it to be, the traffic study to be redone and reevaluated when 5 World Trade Center opens. Because that will add 1,200 apartments to a 1 block away. And that will change the traffic patterns in the area in a way that nothing else has thus far. It will have a major impact. Plus, there are 2 buildings under construction right across the street from that, 1 block south of this, and a full private club with 5 floors, including 2 of full restaurant seating. That's supposed to serve thousands. So for my purposes, I would like to say that there is a traffic study to reevaluate this when 5 World Trade Center is open.
Tammy, I'm just going to say that there is no better public transportation probably in the world than in FIDI. And I don't know why people are even having cars like all the time here. If we're talking about resiliency and climate adaptation and our economy, it's.
You still have garbage, deliveries, I mean, you have understood, but we're not talking, not everybody walks everywhere. You still have deliveries, you still have everything else. So that I'd like to add that in, and then we have to decide. And if not, I'm gonna ask for it to be added, to be voted on.
Point of order on time limit.
Yep, we are out of order on the time. So,
You're talking about as a whereas?
no, and therefore be it resolved at the end, say to reevaluate the.
You realize this will probably be finished before World Trade
I was gonna say, are you proposing to postpone?
No, I'm not proposing to postpone it. I'm proposing to do a traffic study to reevaluate this after all the buildings are built.
So you're saying vote yes or no on this resolution?
I want to vote yes, but I'd like it to be looked at again.
And no one reads fine print.
What do you mean, Jim?
I think it's.
So if the traffic study shows that.
Is she accepting
Are
it?
you accepting it?
I don't understand. Therefore, be it resolved, it has to be motion and a vote on it. And that's
Well,
wrong.
I don't understand the traffic.
There's no such thing as a.
If you don't accept the friendly amendment, then we vote on it.
If you don't accept it, then we vote on it. So my,
I don't have the right to accept.
okay. So I'd like to propose an amendment, which we'll need to vote on before we vote on the entire resolution. And mine is that once all the construction, including 5 World Trade Center, is done, that a new traffic study and open or closure of the street is considered at that time.
Changing what's done, like whatever happens.
No, it may not change it. It may leave it the same.
Yeah.
But a traffic study should be done to consider whether the street should remain closed or
I
not.
call it remain closed or remain open. I call it the question. And I second.
I second.
Okay, all of, any.
We have to roll. Roll call on the motion.
On the
Okay.
motion.
On the friendly amendment.
On the motion.
Amoruso.
Opposed.
Yes.
Kennedy. Order, please.
Brown Kennedy said yes.
Cameron.
He's gone.
Absent.
This is different.
Bob, please. Cassell. Chang.
I'm abstaining because I don't understand.
Chapman. Jacudian.
He's out.
Out.
Cole.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Foreman. Yes. Kucha.
Yes.
Curtis.
No, just on the motion.
This is just for the motion.
That's on the friendly amendment.
Flores.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
He's on the friendly side.
Paying attention.
Keep going.
Yeah, you put all of it.
Flores. Order, please. Lynn.
Yes.
Forsberg.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Froman. Galloway.
Yes.
Goldstein.
Mostly.
Grayson. James.
Maria.
Day.
Hey, yes.
Cannell. Capel.
Yes.
Lerner.
Yes.
Lewinson.
Crying.
Sorry, Lewinson, say again.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Mahoney, yes. Meltzer.
Yes.
Yes. Minsley,
Yes, to the amendment.
Moore,
Yes, for the amendment.
Pandaya.
Yes, with the amendment.
Sorry. Porkashori. Robinson,
Robinson, yes.
Here. Star,
No for the amendment.
Sung, Jimmy, sorry,
Yes.
Vera,
Yes.
Townley,
Abstain.
you,
Yes, for the amendments.
Zelter,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, now, is there anyone who would like to call the question?
I call the question.
Many hands. By affirmation.
You know, please do roll call, please.
No,
It'll be so much faster.
no, no.
Oh. Here we go.
Here, wait, we'll go this way. We'll go this way. There's a request for roll call. Do
I'll be so much faster.
thirds of the board want to do this roll call?
Oh, no.
Up to you, Tammy, whatever.
Okay, so we're going by affirmation. Are there any opposed?
Yes.
Oh,
This is what I was talking about.
Amoruso opposed.
Roll. No. Oh. Lauren. Raymond. Callaway. Goldstein.
Something weird is going on with the sound, by the way.
Yelling. Levinson. Lyon.
Yes.
Mahoney, no. Meltzer.
Yes.
Minsley.
Tinsley, yes.
Moore.
No.
Pandya.
Abstain.
Porkashori. Robinson.
Yes.
Bashir. Star.
Star, yes.
Sung, Jimmy.
No.
Vera Sung. Townley.
Yeah.
Eric Q.
No.
Zelter.
Melcher, yes.
Motion fails. 11 in favor, 19 opposed, 5 abstained.
Yes. That street should.
Don't worry. Don't worry, that street's still gonna get closed.
All right, Benny and committee, thank you for a lot of hard work on that. That went back and forth. All right, let's hit Battery Park City, and you have 4 minutes for a report. Justine, you
All right,
got
I want my slide, please. Thank you. Next. So the first thing we talked about was the place, the Tacky Parkway Activation Playscape. Next slide. Okay, this is what they had set up. They took and had some activation from September 15th to October 27th. I can't remember, there were not a lot of people that showed up, but some people did. Next page. This is what was going on. Next page, the great tennis. The biggest thing that I want you to know is this slide, which asks for input. What they said at the meeting was, we want to know what you think. we said at the meeting, please keep the tables and chairs. We said at the meeting, please pick up the AstroTurf, especially for the winter, because no one's gonna be using it, and it becomes a dog, what it is used for dog pee right now, dog pee. And they said, yes, no problem, but they wanna hear from us as a committee and as a community. Do you want the space? Do you want anything put back? Do you want it to go away? The best way to get back to them, besides coming to our meeting and saying so, is to go to this survey and say something. As Betty Kay pointed out, the survey is kind of skewed towards what you want, like, did you want to have, apples or oranges? But what if you don't want anything? It's not quite there as an option, but there is an option where you can write in what you think, if you don't like it. Next, we're done with that, so please do it. Second thing we discussed, that's not me. So I go backwards the other way and put the committee up. Second thing we discussed very briefly was Senator Brian Kavanaugh's bill to do, give me a second to tell you, it's about affordability basically. And it talks about giving eligible homeowners and renters in Battery Park City some form of ground rent rebate to make it a little bit more affordable. Simply put, it's a means testing for some people. It will help some people. It will not help other people. It is still a work in progress. We came to no conclusion. What we agreed to do was meet with Senator Kavanaugh's office to talk with it a little bit more, to get some more, to flesh out the details, and then we'll present it hopefully in January. Third, Wagner Park Task Force membership. So at the meeting, we talked about it. It was brought up. There's a little pushback from the authority, but since then, I just want to make a note that we have had some good positive conversations with the authority. There will be a preliminary meeting set up sometime in early December. And after that, we will move forward to see what it's going to look like and how it's going to be. So that's going to be, TBD. And then the only other thing that I want to state is that come to Stuyvesant on Thursday for the resiliency report. Alice, Jeff, Wendy and I and Zach actually sat through a preliminary meeting for that, and it was really helpful. So there's a lot of good information. Please come to it.
What time?
It starts at 4:30, but it really starts at 6.
Okay.
So do come.
That was not.
You can talk to different people. They'll have some presentations, but the whole meeting starts. Snacks? They don't have snacks. That's
Justine, first of all, that meeting should have been presented at the EPC committee or the full board. You guys attended as private citizens. That was not anything else.
I can
It
tell
was
you
a
that.
behind the door. There's been no CB1 presentation.
Didn't say it was. I'm just telling you that this is something that if you're interested, it's important to come to. Especially that in the scheme of the meetings, we tend to get to reaches 6 and 7, so South Battery Park City at the very end of it all, whenever it's discussed, whether it's, as Tammy and Alice have said, it's not in a CB1 meeting. They did agree to come to the Battery Park City Committee to talk about specifically this from Liberty Street south, because we're feeling very,
The project goes from Northmore.
I
to
hear you,
South
Tammy. I
and
hear you.
needs to
There's
be
been a lot
presented
of,
at a community board meeting for everybody on the board.
I hear you, and I'm good with that. I'm not saying anything, but I also don't think people
Alright.
should be,
Let's keep going.
have their head in the sand. It's important. Thank you.
I'm last. Mimi, go.
Oh, no, you.
We gotta talk about 133 Greenwich Street resolutions that were not able to have been voted on, something.
Okay, so we're going to licensing. Change the slide, please, for licensing.
Two of the resolutions did not have a quorum. So Mimi is proposing.
Mimi, what are you proposing?
I'm proposing that we vote on them.
At the full board?
Yeah, both of them, the 133 Greenwich Street ones.
Oh, perfect.
Looking to agree to that.
That sounds perfect.
That's fine, and there was no problem with them. You all have to stay put and just listen, okay? So can we vote on that?
Yes.
All in favor? Any opposed, abstentions? Okay. With recusal. All right, so the others, 100, there's another one for 133 and 39. The next 4, other than the Tribeca 2 and 3, we can vote on, if you've read them, which some of you haven't, it's okay. They're non-controversial, they're okay. All right, that's 3, 4, 5, and 1 in Tribeca. Okay, they were approved, they
3, 4,
agreed.
5 financial district and 1 in Tribeca?
Yes, okay, so can I have a,
Sorry, which we.
Hold on, we're gonna take the 2 Greenwich that we moved to committee first and separate.
I thought we
then-
did that. Didn't I just vote on that?
I thought you were voting.
No, we
Let's
voted.
Oh, okay, sorry, everybody. Okay,
let's just vote on those 2, right?
okay.
And then we'll vote on all the others.
Just give the address, just say the address, and we're, so we.
What were your 2 addresses, Mimi? First?
133, they're both 133.
Right.
One is the first
So
floor.
the first ones we're voting are 133.
4 and 5 on the
Greenwich.
screen.
Yes,
133 Greenwich Street, which is 4 and 5 under financial district.
okay.
Call the question.
Second. I hear a call, I hear a second. We'll go by affirmation on this. Are there any opposed? Hearing and seeing no, Laura's hand is up. I'm not sure why. Laura, are you? Is Laura, your camera has?
Sorry, that was from before. I apologize. I'll take it down.
Take hand down and put camera on, please.
Okay.
All right, so hearing no oppositions, are there any abstentions or recusals?
Forsberg abstained.
To 133 Greenwich?
Voting on 4 and 5.
We're only voting on
It's on
4
the
and
board
5.
right here.
133 Greenwich.
What is it, to give them liquor licenses? I mean, I don't even know what they are, what they're asking for. I abstain.
Perfect, fine.
Sorry, Susan, but this 133, this is the first floor of the Cloud One Hotel. So
Yeah.
but this is a public restaurant.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's 1 abstention. Any recusals? Motion passes.
Okay.
Next, which
It's
one's
going
in
to be
1?
1, 2, and 3 under the financial district.
So that's 108 Greenwich.
100 Broad, 10-12 Portland, which is Barcade, and 39 Avenue of the Americas, which is the Hilton Garden and Tribeca.
Just have a question.
Yeah, ask the question.
Question on 1012 Portland. Is that at street level? Is that inside? Where is that space? What's the trade count?
Cortland Alley?
Right?
Oh, maybe it's not.
Second floor.
Oh, it's not at the Trade Center. It's at. Okay.
Oh, is that, it's Cortland
Yeah.
Street, sorry, not Cortland, so it is near.
Yes, it's near, not,
Oh, it's
it's,
Century.
It's an old East River Savings Bank.
Yeah, Century 21.
yeah. But it's it's going to be a museum with other stuff.
Yeah, frontage.
But 1012, guys, is up the block from that. If I'm not, it's the other side of Century 21. It's another place, but it's on the second floor on Cortlandt Street.
Okay.
Look on the,
So we are voting on 4 of them right now. That's 108 Greenwich, 100 Broad,
what, Alice?
12 Portland, and 39 Avenue.
Alice has a question.
No, I have a friendly amendment, I don't know where we voted on, 133 Greenwich Street. You have the establishment as a restaurant, open to the public at all times on the 6th floor.
We've already voted on it.
Okay,
So,
never mind.
sorry.
I'll remember to put those in next time.
Thank
All
you.
right, so,
All right, are you calling the question on those 4?
please.
Wait, I have a question. Sorry, the establishment on 39 Avenue of the Americas is a total of 65,000.
Yes,
Sorry, we're not there.
we are. We
Here,
are.
108, 100.
We are.
And 39. Okay, so yes, Alice, go.
Sorry, Allison.
So this is a large venue for 198 people. Is that correct? But the
Yes.
establishment provides that a public capacity of 75% or more is the public. Is considered, I don't know.
It's a hotel of
Yes.
65,000 square feet.
Yes.
The entire hotel, the whole public capacity, they have other little spaces that don't have a liquor license.
So it's room service,
I was gonna say, in room service. that's
event
where you-
space,
Yeah.
any place you want, a lounge that you want to serve liquor. Or liquor licensing the building.
It's a hotel and you liquor license building, but we're giving it specifically for this, for what, the management and the, all of it, whatever, what we've said.
I'm understanding, I'm sorry, it happens to be across the street where I live, so I wouldn't mind.
Is this
Getting a
a
better sense of the
They built a
100.
hotel.
hold on, Omesh?
It's a corporate change. It's not a new liquor license.
We already gave them,
So it
it's a
has the
corporate
same-
change and,
that
I
all the
forgot.
changes?
Thank you, Ines.
That's the only change?
Yeah, really.
Well, then I'd like that to be noted in this, that that's the only change is the name of the corporation. Otherwise, I don't really know what it's saying.
For a corporate change for a full service liquor license. So should it say corporate name change or is it a corporation change?
It's a corporate change.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to say legally.
Okay,
Thank you.
It's not just the name, the whole.
thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions on those 4 applications? And keep in mind, if you're talking in the second row or the first row, while Susan's trying to answer, you are overwhelming the speaker, and what you hear on the recording is Susan and then behind. So, please. Okay. Did I hear anyone wanted to call the question on these 4?
I certainly did.
And seconded, thank God. All right, so are there any opposition? Are there any abstentions?
Amoruso opposed.
Which one?
Which
All
one,
4.
Mark?
All of them.
Awesome. All right, again, no side comments, please. Are there any other abstentions? Are there any opposed or any recused?
Mark opposed.
I know Mark opposed. Anybody else?
No.
Okay, are there any recusals? Motion carries.
All right.
Susan.
These are this is two, since we have to do the last one orally. 7072 Light Street. You heard, if you were here, you heard the residents of the block come and complain. There's nothing on that block. We tried to come to a reasonable resolution. The applicant has refused to sign the stipulation. So I think I need, and correct me if I'm wrong, the legal people here, I need an approval of the resolution with all the stipulations. And then somewhere we need to say that the applicant, we're going to accompany this with a letter to the SLA and go to the SLA with the tenants. But I believe I need something to state that the applicant has refused to sign the stipulation.
I think it is in there.
It is in there. So do I need to do more?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
guess it'll be in our letter.
And do we know why they refused?
Because they want to open the places, they want to open it with the late hours and all this
They
stuff.
would not compromise at all.
No. And they wanted to stay open later. They really refused to listen to anything.
70.
This place around the corner, how
Hold
can
on,
they?
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
On. Susan, I was actually asking you a question, so hold on.
Why we don't say no, remember the rule, and with the new commissioner and Tammy and all of us who were there. We say no, the commissioner will give them whatever the hell they want.
Yep.
I'm just telling you.
So-
So we put in all the stipulations, all the hours, everything we can possibly do. And they can still go to the SLA. We will be there. The commissioner may relent on something, but at least,
We'll get some of the stuff.
some of the one.
Susan, what I'd like to reflect in the record and
Please.
on the resolution are the people who showed up today.
Yes.
The number of people that they represent.
Absolutely.
And the fact, and have indeed today at the full board to include that also as well as at the
Oh,
committee.
that goes in the letter then.
That we
would
could
go in
also
the
put
letter.
it on here and have it be really, really clear that the community tried to work with the applicant and the applicant flat refused to consider community
Yeah, but-
interests.
And that's, the people that came is reflected in the resolution. What we can do is in the letter, we can say that they came to the full board meeting and, they're still refused. They supported what we put in the resolution, but they still,
Okay.
And just note, there is a change, the
Oh,
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth, whereas from the bottom, it's 11 a.m., not
It's
p.m.
it says 9 a.m., in terms of deliveries, it's supposed to be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., not p.m.
Not p.m.
Thank you. Justine has her hand up, and then Andrew.
Quick question, since we, in the last, therefore be it further resolved, why can't we just say CB1 opposes the granting of their new application, blah, blah, blah? Instead of saying unless the applicant complies, but say because the applicant refused to comply.
Well, this is the way we, standard format. And we have, the applicant has refused to sign and notarize the stipulations as written now, and then it just reaffirms they didn't sign it. We don't want it there. It's just not, as Jeff and I were talking before, I will put it in a letter to the SLA. It says it here.
You know, it does say
But the SLA chairman said, if you just say a flat no, then you have nothing to say. By putting it this way, what you're saying is, we don't want it unless they agree.
To fix it, but
Right,
yeah.
who was after Justine? Andrew, and then Jared, and then Colin.
Go on, Andrew.
I might have missed this. There are two whereases that
Yeah.
talk to noise, or talk to music, speakers, DJs, et cetera. Are there stipulations we're imposing around the noise or around sound management?
What's that?
You know, I have it in my notes.
I would say there should be, Andrew, and if so, those should be included.
We will include it.
In the.
We have the applicant has that there will be live recorded monitors or the acoustical sound boards, protection insulation. So what are you asking me? I'm glad to do it if we've forgotten it somewhere.
What are the?
We didn't give them,
I mean, that's the equipment that they have, and they want to have a DJ, and the community does not want that.
and we didn't give it to them.
Wait, no.
I mean, I'm not a sound expert, but 12 Bose speakers sounds like a lot.
It's made for
So I didn't see any stipulations referenced on sound. Maybe we're accepting the representation about thermal protection insulation.
I'm looking where it is.
Well, speak.
Because how does he have the definition of background music, Susan?
Oh, the concerns were playing.
While Susan's looking it up, Jared, did you have a question?
Wondering if there's additional stronger language that we put in about their sort of lack of desire to play ball.
That'll go in the letter. Absolutely will go in the letter. I don't see it, Andrew, and something has to be added there, okay? We will add it regarding the soundproofing.
Could you italicize it instead? If you don't think we should move it, but if you italicize it or underline it, would that emphasize it without?
We can highlight it in the letter as well.
Susan, how about putting it has to meet the stipulations of background music?
Bob, be quiet.
Okay,
Would that be okay?
yeah.
No. Next question was Jared.
Very
Oh, so Elizabeth, you're next. Oh, no, I skipped Colin. Dang it.
What do you know what to say?
I know what you're gonna say, so let Elizabeth go first.
Go on.
For a second, if you say no and don't indicate a reason, the SLA is not gonna, I should know it, but the SLA is not, it's gonna grant them a license, not gonna do whatever they want.
For example,
Right.
let me explain. For example, we had a resolution several months ago. And we limited, we said no on the hours and whatever, and we had to go to the SLA.
Yeah.
And the SLA heard us, didn't give them till 4, but gave them to 2. So we always try to be as specific as we can, because the commissioner will extend it to some degree. So we limit the hours. So the community wanted 10 o'clock. I want you all to know that. And the compromise we tried to make was to give them till 10:30. They refused everything.
Okay, but what if we say no because the hours,
And the commissioner will say, going to Colin, we're in for small business. This is what we want to do. We want to provide for blah, blah, blah. There you are. So we're between a rock and a hard place all the time. And
In
so
order to say no, a flat no, it has to be, and it's so incredibly egregious.
and even if it is,
they're not there yet. So
we,
there's no
we
history.
rejected something on, 18 exchange. 20 exchange, 18, whatever it is, there are two entrances. And they're supposed to come back to us. Well, we never got, they didn't sign the stipulation. So the SLA gave them stipulations. And we just got, have we gotten the stipulations from the SLA yet? No. So we're always, and that's why we want it always in writing and always there, so we have something to fall back on.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Call it to question.
Oh, please.
I think we.
I think Colin called, and Alice seconded, so this is the last one of, you have 456 Greenwich, right?
Yeah, that's the last one.
So this is, okay, we're going by
affirmation.
all by affirmation. Are there any opposed to 72 late?
Amoruso opposed.
Amoruso opposed.
Not
No.
late, you're on the, oh, yes, 70.
No, no, I'm late.
Yeah, I got it.
Going.
I don't.
All right, are there any abstentions?
Forsberg abstains.
Pucci abstains.
Are there any recusals? Motion passes. Now 456 Greenwich.
Okay.
This is our last, this is roll call. So before Susan gets rolling, remember, everybody has to clean up, everybody has to stack chairs and help the office.
Yes.
And we all want to thank Andrea Ju for the food. And I don't know yet, and does someone want to work with Jason and I for December's meeting to supply food?
I will.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. All right, now Susan, take us home.
All right, this is the Hotel Berrien.
Please.
They asked for an hour extension. Nothing to do with the roof, which is still a big bone of contention. This is a first floor, downstairs indoor restaurant. Am I correct, Onesh? He thinks so, so do I. It's late. And the courtyard, which they have, they have put up barriers for noise, and we have not had any complaints. That I know I'm correct about. So that's our last one, and we agreed, and they signed stipulations, did they not? Yeah.
Call the question.
So wait, this one's 456 Greenwich and we're opposing granting them a.
No.
No, we're giving it to them.
We always say it like that.
Okay.
We always say we oppose unless they agree
I'm
with
last,
us.
got it. I missed it last.
I don't know this one. When did we last?
A year ago.
So, and no complaints from?
No,
Okay,
no,
thank
no.
you.
Okay, Bob,
Back there quiet.
you gotta keep quiet. Everybody on the sides, you have to be very quiet so Colin can hear, please.
Amoruso.
Amoruso's no.
Blank.
Staying.
Kennedy. Cassell.
So, yes.
Chang.
Chang, yes.
Chapman.
Kevin, yes.
Cole.
Yes, Cole, yes.
Thank you. Coleman. Yes. Carmen.
Yes.
Kucha.
Pucci, yes.
Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Flores. Flynn.
Flynn, yes.
Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes.
Friedman.
Friedman, yes.
Perlman.
Roman, yes.
Galloway.
Galloway, yes.
Goldstein. Kay. Capel.
Yes.
Lerner.
Lerner, yes.
Lewinson. Lyon.
Yes.
Mahoney, yes. Meltzer.
Yes.
Winsley. I can't hear you. Thank you.
Matt, keep quiet, please.
Moore.
Boy, yes.
Tanya.
Yeah.
Robinson.
Robinson, yes.
Shear. Starr.
Yes.
Son, Jimmy. You're a son. Yep. Townley.
Yes.
You.
Here, yes, sorry.
Zelter, bring us home. Yes. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
10:04.
Now move the chairs on the table, just the chairs around.